And good evening, everybody. Welcome to Prospects of the Land, part of the Baseball Banter broadcast. I'm Ethan Greenberg, along with Nate Bope, Taven McCulley, and we are going to get right to it. This has turned into what should be a pretty interesting evening, interesting podcast as the MLB draft was going on, and then all kinds of hell has broken loose in the moves that have been made throughout the Cleveland Guardians farm system. So with that, I will hand it over to Taven and Nate to kind of guide this sleigh, as it were.
Well, this is going to be a very interesting, potentially bumpy sleigh ride because holy crap, is there a ton of stuff to talk about today.
Yeah, fortunate enough, I was able to go up to, catch a Ducks game this week, catch two Captains games. First time I've been back to the, that Captains Stadium to watch a Captains game. Want to say it's been a while, probably 10 years. So it's been fun to catch them, but finally saw our boy Logan Petoskey in person, got to chat it up with him and, bringing this up just because it segues. I was talking to him. Obviously you have the MLB draft and we've been harping on it, right? Especially for that Lynchburg or now Hill City team. Look, that team's going to hit a 180 with all these guys getting drafted. You're going to bring a ton of guys in. I was talking to Logan and, we both kind of thought that things are really going to start getting rolling at this time of year with the draft for move wise. Man, did it. I mean, well over double digits for moves that were made, right? We're going to obviously break everything down, but it's that time of year where the minor leagues gets fun and got a lot of new faces coming in and, some older guys going out.
Well, I mean, I would ask how we all are, but as long as we're all good, I think we got to dive right on into the meat because holy crap, there's a ton of stuff to get to today. As usual, we will start with the recaps. These are not going to be as in-depth just because of the amount of stuff that we've got to get to today. We're going to end up blowing through stuff fairly quickly here. As usual, if you don't know how this works, you've never seen the show before, first of all, welcome. And I do feel like I have to give a little bit of a special shout out because it's been about a month since we've seen our good friend across the pond. Mike from the UK is back in the comment section. So
maybe Mike.
Good to see him back there. Mike, I hope all is well. The ball hit the wire, Mike. The ball hit the wire. Let's talk now about
I miss here. What did I miss?
The England-Norway game.
Okay, wait. What happened in the England-Norway?
So there was a goal kick that led to an England goal that hit the wire of the Skycam, but the sensor in the ball didn't pick anything up. And so VAR was like, we can't really do anything, but it literally was soaring through the air and then just dropped.
I feel like,
down.
But
and that's how
I don't even remember that. I didn't even remember.
Yeah, that's how Jude Bellingham got his first goal.
Oh,
Mike, do we really trust the FIFA footage? How much do we trust FIFA, Mike? Be honest with yourself.
About as much as we trust any governing body, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Okay, Lehigh Valley is where the Columbus Clippers were this weekend. It did not go too well for them in terms of the results. Now, the offense did pick up quite a bit, though. Juan Brito had a couple bombs. Cody Huff a couple bombs. Angel Yanao, Cooper Ingles, CJ Kafis, Bo Naylor, Milan Tolentino, and a player in the MLB Futures game that happened today, Ralphie Velasquez, also homered this past weekend. The RBIs came from everywhere. The batting averages looked really, really good across the board. But, folks, we continue to say it week in, week out. The pitching. It let us down again this week. Even for some of the guys that did not have really all that bad of outings, they got touched around, like Yorman Gomez, 3 runs and 4 1/3. That's not distasteful. 7 strikeouts, 1 walk, but the ERA doesn't look good. ERA doesn't look good in a double bump week for Trenton Denholm, Rorik Maltrud. Austin Peterson didn't even get into the second inning. I mean, pitching. How much do we got to keep talking about it? Even Daniel Espino was down this week. 4.50 ERA, allowed a run in 2 innings. I mean, you look and say, whoop-de-doo, whatever. This is just, man, we're going to save the thoughts on the pitchers that we drafted, right? but this is getting ridiculous at this point. The amount that we're trying to ask from these pitchers. Still a couple guys that had some solid weeks, like Ryan Webb, 2 2/3 innings out of the pen, pretty good. Will Dion had himself a pair of nice games. Steven Perez, not too bad from him. Trevor Stephan, as he tries to still work his way back, still not too shabby. This is just getting ridiculous at this point. It feels like we say it every week with every affiliate. Offense, great. Pitching, woof. Guys, when's this going to pick up?
I'm not sure. Let me ask you to pose this question, though. And it may be some food for thought for when we start talking about the draft pick. When you look at the Guardians' current rotation, you've got all of them are young.
Yeah.
Bobby Williams, Messick's a rookie. Williams is young, relatively speaking. Cantillo isn't that old.
I think Slade's probably the oldest in that rotation.
Slade is the oldest.
And he's not even 30 yet.
Right. And then you look at the bullpen. I think actually that's our bigger problem right now is our bullpen.
Yeah. Yep.
And so I don't know how many obviously you want to draft a lot of good pitchers, because if you get a young core of arms that you can keep for a long time, we know how that goes. So as much as we harp on the pitching and how it's not performing at this level, how many guys or which guys do we really need? Do we need the starters or do we need the bullpen guys right now? Right now, it seems like we need some bullpen arms, at least in the minors, to really show up now, and then make eventually, if they need to get called up to Cleveland. Obviously, Alaman being up at the bigs, has been nice. I don't know, did they call him up when Heron went down? Who did they?
Somehow Cody Hoyer.
They called him back up.
Yeah,
and I thought he did. I thought he did pretty well. So we can kind of hold that conversation for a little while. But I thought I'd throw that out there as I was thinking about it.
Yep, put it in its little box. We'll slip it under the tree and we'll unwrap it on Christmas morning, which will come in about maybe an hour. Who knows?
All right, I'll let Taven throw his 2 cents in there and 5 cents worth even.
Yeah, I mean, it's just been pitching, right? You touched on it a little bit. I'll throw a little bit out there too. They get a lot of young arms, it seems like, and they're able to. It seems like you could be using different roles, right? A lot of these guys in the bullpen now in Cleveland, they were starters at one point, right? I mean, let's not forget Hunter Gaddis, the entirety of his time in the minor leagues, and even when he first got to the bigs, he was a starting pitcher, and obviously it didn't look so hot in the starting role up in Cleveland. But his bread and butter is that freaking bullpen. And that's what I think they can do with a lot of these guys. And we're starting to see it too. I mean, Jogley Garcia, big time starter. Obviously we're not at Lake County yet, but I mean, they're really starting to use him in a bullpen role down there in Lake County. So a lot of these pitchers, they can go kind of wherever. And I think that's a strong suit of Cleveland. Now, when we talk about Columbus, it's kind of what it's been all year. I mean, just pretty solid, right? 9-9 as it stands, right? You're 5 games out of first place. Definitely not out of it. There's a long way to go, but this pitching really has to start picking up, man. And it hasn't been just Columbus. It's been every single one of them, it seems like. And especially in the next team, we're going to talk about Akron. But if you just get the pitching rolling, then you're really going to have something special with these teams. Now, when we go to the positive, which is obviously the bats, man. I mean, these bats have been fire. It seems like every single affiliate that we have, like Nate said, I mean, you've got Ralphie up there. You've got a ton of new bats that just got added, especially, that outfield's going to get a lot better with the name that we'll touch on later. That's kind of just been the story of Columbus. So you just got to, just kind of tread water, see what you have, and hopefully the pitching wakes up.
By the way, don't know if I said this, Columbus only won 2 out of the 6 games in Lehigh Valley. Akron, we're going to move and touch about them. They did win Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. They started to turn this ship around, and then you lost out on the weekend, got outscored 16-4. So they were in a split with the Chesapeake Bay Sox, who, I mean, you were there for a game or two, Taven. Yeah. Pretty jerseys. I mean, those jerseys are just awesome. Those Bay Sox jerseys rule. Ducks jerseys rule too. Don't get me wrong, but the Bay Sox, holy crap. This week, Jonah Advincula, Juan Benjamin, Nate Collado, and Nick Mitchell all hit homers. We're going to save a name that did get released, and it might surprise a fair bit, especially with the season that he is having, but we'll touch on why that happened. Jason Churio had himself another nice week at the plate. Bennett Thompson, not too bad. in his own right. This team, honestly, I know it feels like we harp on the pitching a lot this year. Pitching was not that bad in Akron this week. You take away the weekend, Braylon Doty, look at him, double bump week. He almost went 11 innings, did allow 10 hits, so the batting average against opposing hitters doesn't look great, but did strike out 12. Dylan DeLucia in a start allowed 2 on 6 hits, over 4 in the third, but 7 strikeouts, no walks. You'll absolutely take that. Josh Hartle was solid enough in his one start. Caden Favors looked pretty good in his one start. Only guy that really got touched around a whole ton was Rafe Schlesinger. We talked about the bullpen. There were some guys that really lit it up this week. Jack Carey, Jay Driver, Zach Jacobs, Jack Jasek, Alaska Abney. Some of those guys we'll touch on here later in the show. But while it hasn't happened at Columbus yet, Taven, we'll start with you. Even though we got to see it for a couple more weeks, pitching is starting to turn itself around, starting with the AA club.
Yeah, no, I thought pitching was really good this week. Can't remember who ended up pitching Wednesday. Was it Hartle?
I will find that out right now.
I'm pretty sure it was Hartle. Yeah, I mean, pitching's been great all week, which, obviously they really struggled with that, right? So it's just big that was back, and just really great to see them get a win on Wednesday, right? They deserved it. Alex Mooney in the dugout after, just throwing his hands in the air. You can tell they've been through it, man. So it was just good to see them get another win. But the bats have been consistent. A guy I really want to touch on this week, Nick Mitchell. He was absolutely unbelievable. In the month of July, he's almost hitting 300. He's at 293 right now, 10 for 41 in the batter's box. I think he's really starting to come around for this team in that leadoff spot. Average hasn't been the best all year, but it's still 220, 225, but actually at the moment it's 229, but they keep believing him in that leadoff spot, and it paid off this weekend, especially there on Wednesday. He was pulling everything out. Alfonso Rosario doing his things that he normally does down there, holding that team together. Again, just really great to see Doty out there. Just shove. I mean, first time out, really got shelled, no way around it. But I mean, the way that he was able to fight back there, loved everything that he was about. The bullpen looked pretty solid at times. Sean Matson held it down there on Wednesday as well. Advicula back in the lineup. He gets a bomb, looks great coming off of injury there. So, I mean, you look at the Akron record, it's not pretty whatsoever. And those first 2 series weren't, especially the one against Erie. But you look at that Chesapeake one, and you split the series. I think this team's heading in the right direction after a rough couple weeks there.
Well, you guys mentioned something. It is obviously, it seems like they're turning in the right direction. I'm looking at the numbers, and you're going to have to tell me, consider me stupid, which I am. What the hell are we doing releasing Jack Carey?
Well,
what the hell's going on?
I think we're going to put a pin in that thought, because there's another surprising release from Akron that I think we just got to touch on them all, because there are a couple guys that you take a look at the numbers, might surprise you that they drop. So we'll put a pin in it. We will get back to it. I promise.
You better, because I'm kind of I'm looking at the numbers, and I'm like, what the flying bejeebers is going on here?
Well,
we're
going to take a look at
kind words.
Well, we're going to take a look at the numbers for everybody that got released, and maybe touch on why that is, if it seems like a surprise. Taven was there for a couple games for Rake County.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot to pull up what they did this week. They actually were really hot for a period. They lost out the weekend.
They lost out the weekend, but they
lost out the weekend, still took 4.
Yep, won the first 4, and that was 7 in a row.
Yeah, the first 4, when you go back to the West Michigan series, 7 straight. Ended up losing Saturday, Sunday, 2 really, really tight games.
Yeah.
But regardless, Dean Curley, pair of homers. Jace Laviolette, pair of homers. Nolan Schubart, pair of homers. Ryan Cesarini, Esteban Gonzalez, and Tommy Hawk with a homer as well. The reason that's surprising, Tommy Hawk, normally known for what he can do on the base paths. This is... what was it? His first homer in...
When I was talking to Tommy, he said, I haven't homered in 2 years.
Yeah, I saw your interview with him. Great job, by the way. Good work out there.
Glad on the Prospects of the Land Instagram. So make sure everybody, drop a follow.
Get on there.
We're posting content now. We got pictures, we got photos, we got interviews. We're getting the ball rolling.
Taven's all over this stuff. Now, are you going to have football prospects of the MAC?
We'll see. We'll see.
Okay,
Star
I was just
Sports
checking.
kind of already does that in and of itself. But some good weeks in non-homer related incidents. Esteban Gonzalez did hit the homer, but hit 500 this week.
Yep.
Anthony Martinez hit 500, only 1 for 2, but still you like to see him get the hit when he gets his at-bats. Aaron Walton, 11 of 22 this week. Absolute dog, and the batting average is good across the board. For the last 7 days, or actually the last series for the pitching standpoint, again, started to get better. Will McCausland went a scoreless 6 innings. He was flawless in his start. Jackson Humphreys, not a bad start for him. 10 strikeouts over 5 innings. Good to see from Jackson. You don't normally see that. Jacob Zibin, not too shabby in his double bump week. Could be better, could be worse. Michael Kennedy was all right. And then Jervis Alfaro, the only starter that really got bat around quite a bit. You got to touch on some of these guys out of the pen. Our boy Isaac Martinez was great this week. Luis Flores was awesome. Jogly Garcia in that bullpen role. He is going through his struggles, trying to adapt, but not a bad week for him. Donovan Zach, pretty good week there. So kind of the same story with Akron, right? The offense was there, and this offense has been with Lake County for the better part of the last 2 months, and pitching starting to trend in the right direction at the High A club.
Yeah, Ray County for a reason, like you said. I mean, Tommy Hawk had an absolute heck of a week, was able to, be there for that home run, so that was pretty sweet. But the rest of this team's been hitting the baseball well. Laviolette today. Guy I really want to highlight, which you might not think he's having that great of a season. Tyler Howard, man. I mean, hitting in that 9-hole. Dude.
He was hitting like in the immortal. Well, I won't use the word that rhymes to steal the line from Major League, but he was hitting like what when we saw him down at Hill City, and it's great to see both Tyler Howard and Harrison Bodendorf get the call up from Hill City to Lake County. That's great. Tyler Howard, good dude. Dude.
Yeah, Howard today, 2 for 4, hit 406. He's hitting 406 in IA. I mean, for a catcher, that's not even heard of, right? The rest of these guys really holding their own, and this team is, from just when I was at the ballpark, I mean, 5 hours ago, this team is totally different now, which is crazy. That's just the world of minor league baseball. We're going to recap that. But Aaron Walton swinging a great bat, 275 average. Cesarini in the leadoff hole, 260. So, I mean, again, this team's just really hitting the baseball well. The pitching's been solid. It hasn't been the best at times. Zibin struggled a little bit today, only gave up 3 runs. So, definitely could have been worse, was in some trouble, got out of it a couple times. The bullpen, I think, has been the best bullpen, possibly them in Akron in the entire minor league. So, pitching's been solid down there for the most part. They're playing a really good brand of baseball. They are currently in second place and, with a 12-6 record. And that is thanks to 12-8 record, thanks to Great Lakes playing like crazy with a 15-5 record in first place.
Yeah, a lot of guys that are performing really well. They still sit 3 games back of Great Lakes. Even though Lake County's playing some great baseball right now, Great Lakes is playing phenomenal baseball. Still got a series left with them, though, this year, and I believe it's in Lake County. So that's going to be big. That's going to be big. Hill City. Here's what the Howlers did this week. First of all, things are starting to pick up in Hill City. The results this week are not outright going to tell you that because, boy, there were some big losses. I know it sounds like I'm going to go on my other positive spin at Hill City. I'm not, I promise. 15-1 loss on Friday, 13-4 loss today. But a lot of the individual cats are starting to wake up a little bit, especially the offense this week. Juniker Caceres, a pair of bombs. Talk about him later on in the show. Horvik Abreus with a homer. Luis De La Cruz, Dowry Fernandez, Rainer Herrera. Good to see him and his bat starting to wake up. Cannon Peebles with a homer there as well. A couple other good performances with the bat. Gabby Rodriguez, Riley Nelson, Jose Perella. Some solid weeks for them offensively. Now, we've talked about the pitching improving in Akron and Lake County as of late. Same cannot be said for what is happening in Hill City. Some really, really bad weeks. Aragaldi Perez did not have a great start. Nelson Keljo did not have a great start. Ryan DeSanto, the ERA is not going to show probably how how well he was pitching at points, but did give up a pair of bombs, so 2 mistakes allow his ERA to be over 5. But there were a couple guys that were really good on the mound this week in a starting role. Harrison Bodendorf allowed 1 4 1/3. Miguel Flores, awesome, 6 hits, 2 runs. They were not earned, though, so his ERA is a flat 0, and just good whenever you can get a minor league starter to go 6 innings. And then Ryan Prager, even though it was an opener, came out and set the tone, an inning scoreless there in that game. So overall, you do lose 4 out of 6 this week. Pitching in the bullpen in the back end still needs some work, but the bat's starting to really come around for Hill City. It is not there yet, and if you think we're going to touch on a lot of the drops already, you haven't seen nothing yet, because there are going to be more releases, more drops, more people saying, thank you for your service. We'll see you with another team. With the draft picks that we're about to go over here momentarily, this roster is about to change a whole bunch. So maybe it's going to start changing at the right time. Going to get some new guys in here. But Taven, for what you saw out of Hill City this week, despite some of the results, they've got to start finding ways to win some of these closer games. Things are slowly getting there.
Yeah, when you look at this Hill City offense, most teams have a solid, well-rounded 9 guys, right? I mean, it kind of does this. It's Hill City's got a really strong core 4 at the top of that lineup. And if you just look at the averages, it plummets after that, man. But the 4 guys at the top, Fernandez, Martinez, obviously Junior Caceres, and then De La Cruz, those guys have been great all year for them, right? Obviously, Caceres, the main guy, hitting 320, swinging a real hot bat. De La Cruz, 287. He's got some power with there, too. 7 bombs on the year. So, again, it's been a struggle for this team all year. There's no doubt about it. But like you mentioned, this team's going to hit a complete 180, and that's what we're going to get to next. So I'm going to, end this probably here. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens, and not just all the teams, but especially Hill City they're going to hit a complete 180, give it 2 to 3 weeks time.
It's absolutely crazy. And I didn't even, with this being the most in-depth I've followed the minor leagues ever, to see how this all takes place and what happens. Because I don't even really think, again, we talked a little bit about how when you look at the draft, you don't necessarily see guys immediately like you do in the NBA and NFL, where you're like, okay, this guy is coming and they're going to be playing immediately on the biggest stage. Unless they're like an NFL, it's a way late round draft pick, whatever. But then when you're talking about Major League Baseball and the fact they have to go through the minor league system, right, it takes a while for you to find them again, unless you are closely following the minor league, all of the prospects as we are here. So I think that, like you said, though, they got to find a way to win some closer games in Hill City, but they got some blowout losses there, man. That was like trying to give the poop sandwich there. You really impressed the people at the meeting. You look like Snoopy, and it makes me smile. When you wear that suit, Brian, it looks like you took a white poop, but it's stuck. And it seems like some of our pitching performances look like that, black suit, and they took a white poop, but it's stuck. Getting hit for 9 runs, 13 runs, 15 runs as a pitching staff is not going to cut it.
Well, I think we got to move right on into everything going on. So let's start with the positive, right? Let's positive sandwich this thing. We're going to go with the promotions, then we'll go with the cuts, and we'll talk about the new faces coming in this week with the MLB draft. Taven, you got something to throw up there for us? Yeah. There's a whole ton of promotion. Yeah. So we will start actually at the bottom of this list. We'll start at the bottom of this list. So moving up from AA to AAA, some guys that are absolutely deserving of doing it. Ethan, I'm sorry, we can't really see you back there.
It doesn't matter. It's okay.
Taven, if you want to pull up the stats for Alphonse and Rosario, because I'll tell you what, ever since he got to Akron, that guy's been mashing the crap out of the baseball. I know 16 home runs this year. I'll let you fill in the rest.
Yeah, I mean, just this guy's the complete package, man. I mean, is listed 6 foot 222. He looks even taller in person, right? And I mean, 6 foot, you might look at that. That's not that tall on a baseball field, man. This guy's a freaking giant, and he's got all the power in the world to back that. And he's got the speed too, which makes him even more dangerous. A lot of big guys, you know, in the organization in the past, you talk about Jonathan Rodriguez, kind of a similar build. He was slow and terrible in the outfield. Alfonso Rosario, man, he can freaking field a baseball, and they've had him in center at times too. So that just goes to show that. But the stat line on him in 248 at bats, he's hitting 270 with 16 home runs, 52 RBIs, 12 stolen bases for the big man. Obviously, that tells you a little bit of that speed there.
Zero caught stealing.
And a
Zero
.919 OPS, and as Ethan said, 0 times stolen. The round 6 pick from the Chicago Cubs, we acquired him in the Eli Morgan trade. I want to say that was 2023, if not 2024. This guy's a complete package, man, and we're going to see that at the next level too. We've already seen it at Akron. He's already at Columbus, and we've got one more step before, you know, Cleveland gets to lay eyes on this guy, because in my opinion, it's destined to happen. It's just a matter of how long you're going to keep him at AAA and when it's going to happen.
That guy is the up-and-comer of the future. Alfonso Rosario has been great. Ethan, I know we can't see you, but any thoughts on what Mr. Rosario has done? Because he's the biggest name on this list.
Well, is that by the number of letters, or are you how are you measuring them? By height? How do you measure your golf game? By height? No. Yeah, obviously the numbers speak for themselves. They really do. And I mean, he certainly has been mashing. As you mentioned, Taven, his ability on the base paths, the speed. I mean, if he can turn out to be this big bat we need in an outfielder eventually for the big league club, that would be a huge victory. Although it's finally nice to see, and I know we haven't touched on it at all, it's nice to see Chase DeLauder hit a couple jacks here in the past few days. Really loving that. He tattooed it today. Whoa. We've got a number of guys tattooing them down in Miami. That was a great weekend series for the Guardians. Way to go into the All-Star break. But no, and that's about all I can really add on to what you already said there, Taven. You did it so well.
Well, Taven, throw that back up there, because we got to talk about just one of my favorite pitchers to watch throw the baseball.
Yeah.
He's got the sidewinder, almost submarine-like motion. And when he throws that Frisbee slider, dude, good luck. That's Alaska Abney. The numbers are not going to speak for how he deserves the promotion this year. Only 28 2/3 innings. He's been off and on the injury bug with 23 strikeouts, 4.4 ERA, 2-1 is his record, but his career stats are they just jump off the charts. So 3.12. He's 18-5. I know we don't throw a lot of stake into records as a pitcher on this show, but when you're 18-5, you're doing something right. Nearly 230 innings, 236 strikeouts, and again, the thing that sets him apart, besides his lovely mustache and his flowing mane, his Frisbee slider is unhittable.
Yeah, like you mentioned, I mean, a guy, you look at him, he's been there since 2024 in Akron, so he's been there a minute, man. But again, it's just because of the injury bug. This guy's got all the stuff in the world, and he's a heck of a weapon out in the bullpen, right? A lot of little to none pitchers are throwing like that. You put him in a late game opportunity against a team that's seen only guys throwing overhand. It's scary, right? 26-year-old out of Coastal Carolina this year. He's 2-1, 23 strikeouts. ERA is a little high, but again, out of the bullpen in the minor leagues, you're going to get that from time to time. But again, 22 appearances. If this guy's able to stay healthy, he's got big things ahead of him. I'm not saying, that he's going to change the bullpen in Cleveland right away. But again, this guy's got stuff. You can build on him, definitely. Love everything he's about.
Coming out of Coastal Carolina, that's a great baseball school. Just a couple of years ago, they were in the College World Series.
Won it in 2016.
Yep, and if they follow in the footsteps of former Canton Crocodile, Maple Heights own Ron Dubell, we got a good pitcher out there. No, they obviously Coastal Carolina. You hear that name, and if you're not a college baseball fan, if you haven't followed things, you'd be like, huh? Yeah. What? Who? They did what? and they are a legit school team when it comes to college baseball, and they've got a good product there. So hopefully Abney can continue his ascension and not have the injury bug cause him problems. Has he had any has he already had Tommy John surgery? I don't know all the injury bug issues, but you're talking about none of that.
I don't think so, but I could be wrong on that.
Well, because you're talking about like his pitching style, and so I wonder about the.
He's dang close to a submarine pitcher.
Right. So I'm wondering, who was the last guy that the Guardians had that was like a submarine pitcher?
Even a sidewinder.
I mean, you've got Schulke down in Lake County, but he obviously isn't.
It was.
I'm thinking of somebody longer ago than that was at the big league level. But
oh my god,
it wasn't the guy who died, was it? It wasn't Steve Olin, was it?
No, it. Adam Simber. Remember that guy?
Yes.
Wow, yes, Adam Simber. Holy
I know ball. I know ball.
That's ball.
I haven't heard that name in probably 5 years.
Wow.
Oh, there you go. That's good. That's good.
And it got picked out of his own brain. Look at that. Taven, throw it back up there. There are a ton that are moving up from Lake County to Akron. So, to refresh, Alfonso Rosario, Alaska Abney, AA to AAA. Now we go high A to AA. And first, we got to talk about our boy, Isaac Martinez.
Yes,
first of all, great guy. And he's a phenomenal baseball player, too. Correct me if I am wrong. I believe I'm getting his round right. Round 17 pick, folks, and he's up there in AA Akron
right now.
He has just been absolutely fantastic ever since he got here. Was fantastic for Lynchburg, was fantastic for Lake County. Had a little bit of his lows at points, but it's been mostly highs for Isaac Martinez. Good friend of the program. And Taven, I can't think of a baseball player, be a better dude to have this happen to out of that Lake County bullpen.
Again, one of, if not the best guy in the game I've ever met, right? I mean, just the nicest guy you're going to get. And man, it doesn't stop there. It's the numbers. Oh my goodness. ERA 1.55 on the season in high A. Again, like you mentioned, the standout from UC San Diego in the 18th round on paper.
18.
That's not catching anybody's attention, but this guy has freaking proved time after time after time that he belongs. 50 strikeouts in just 40 innings pitched this year, 25 appearances and a 1.06 whip. His career stats, he's got a 2.62 ERA. He's been in the organization for about 2 years now. He was drafted in 2024. So, caught the tail end of that season. And since then has been with us. But again, can't stress enough how much this guy just continues to just shove out there every time, right? Any position, whether it's the closing role, whether it's middle relief, right? He can do it all. The ERA shows it, man. And, kind of expected this promotion maybe a month ago, just from the way that things were looking. Ultimately, they know what they're doing, and it comes now, man. I just love to see it, man. Couldn't happen to a better dude.
So one thing, first of all, I'm sorry, Mike, that you've met Adam Simber. Second of all, I've confirmed that Steve Olin, in fact, was a sidearm submariner. And for those of you who are old like me, you'll remember tragically in the early 90s, the down at spring training in Florida, the boating accident took the life of Steve Olin and Tim Cruz. I believe it was two, and maybe one other person was injured but survived. But again, not good stuff. Not great there. But I knew my brain was working a little bit. My old memory pulled a little bit better than your new memory, Taven there. And certainly by the numbers, Isaac Martinez, other than spelling his name with a Z, we're going to have to be okay with that. So a 1.59 ERA in 24 games is pretty darn good.
Yeah.
And you look at the walk to strikeout ratio, 15 walks, 50 strikeouts. So that's over a 3-to-1 ratio of strikeout to walk. That's fantastic. 6 saves and it's 8 save opportunities. So that's 75% of the time. Not too shabby. And like you said, look, you keep promoting. We're going to talk about all the draft picks and how many they have that were arms. And I guess this is what we're going to have to replenish the cabinet, the pantry, as it were.
Yep.
And then you got four, 1, 2, 3. Yep, I counted correctly. 4 guys that have just been absolutely tearing it up from an offensive standpoint. We'll just start with the homer list. Nolan Schubart had 20 home runs. Aaron Walton had 15 home runs before he got called up. Dean Curley with 10 home runs. And then Ryan Cesarini there as well. Has not played that much with Lake County, but you knew that this promotion was coming once he got back and healthy. 7 homers in 34 games. All these guys are just tearing it up. Schubart with a 243 average has actually leads the captains this year in both homers and RBI. So one of the most important bats to the lineup is gone, as well as Aaron Walton. The guy's an absolute show in the outfield. 15 homers, 55 RBIs, has stolen 21 bases this year, 275 average. Both those guys, OPS, by the way, over 900. You can say the same thing with Dean Curley, 251 average, 10 homers, 52 RBIs, draws a ton of walks, and pretty good when he chooses to swipe those bags on the base paths. Yep. Lastly, Ryan Cesarini, 260 average. The OPS is 803. 7 homers, 21 RBIs. Again, he's been battling his way back from injury, but he's shown what he's able to do when healthy. More of a DH style player, but can play the field as well. Schubart at first base, Walton in the outfield, and then Dean Curley there as well in the middle infield. So 4 guys that are moving up to Akron, and could they bring Lake County to the Rubber Ducks? I think so. So now this is the interesting part about the minor leagues, right? You got to see how Lake County is going to adjust without some of their biggest bats in this lineup. And you also have got to see now what Akron's going to be able to do with these guys there.
Yeah, again, like you mentioned, I mean, it's just going to be a little bit of struggle for in some ways, right? Let's just take Akron, for example. You lose your leader, right? You'll lose Alfonso and Rosario, not without a doubt the best bat in that lineup. But then again, you're getting 4 new guys who've been on fire at the other level. So it's really a give and take scenario, right? But
3 of them can play the outfield.
Yeah. We talk about the draft, right? Where obviously that's our next big topic once we get through all these moves. About a year ago, probably today, around that point, we were talking about what we're going to talk about in our next segment, these guys getting drafted, right? And a lot of these are big names. Dean Curley, round 2 pick last year, pick 64. Nolan Schubart, round 3 draft pick 101. And Aaron Walton, competitive round B draft pick overall, 66. So, I mean, these are 3 dudes that were all, 3rd round or earlier. I mean, and they produced in big ways, right? Dean Curley, the dude that we raved about once we saw, look, man, we've got a guy, a position player from Tennessee. He's hitting 251 with 10 bombs. Love everything he's about. Nolan Schubart. I mean, he can swing the bat, man. 20 home runs on the year. Come on, 69 RBIs. The OPS is 919 to match it. Average could be a little better at 240, but again, that's not his game that he's going after. And then Walton's been a beast, man. 302 at-bats, 275 batting average, 15 bombs. He's been the guy that's impressed me the most, the standout from Arizona. I mean, this kid's an absolute beast. So outfielder there, going to provide some outfield depth for Akron. I mean, what's not to say about these guys? And then Ryan Cesarini, how could I forget? Raved about those guys from last year's draft. Cesarini was 2024 draft. Round 14 picks, so a totally different story from those guys. All those guys, top 3 rounds. Cesarini from St. Joseph's, he's a round 14 pick 415. But again, he's in that leadoff spot, has battled a little bit of injury. He's hitting 260 with 7 home runs, 21 ribbies, and he swiped 7 bags. So when you look at the promotions, the 3 dudes that I said previously doesn't shock me whatsoever. They deserve it 100%. And that's not to say that Cesarini doesn't either, because he's been playing a great brand of baseball. But when you look at who else is on that roster and who's been down there for a while, along with Cesarini, the guy who just hit that home run this weekend, Tommy Hawk, that's who was at the top of my list for that promotion. I thought if he didn't get hurt at all last year, he would have started the year with Akron. He's made his way off the injured list, and now he's back, and he's hitting 305 and still swiping bags. He looks healthy. I don't know what we're doing with Tommy Hawk not going up. But again, Cesarini deserves it if you're going to give a spot to somebody. If not Tommy Hawk, I don't think Laviolette's ready just yet. Cesarini's that next guy in line.
Well, and I was about to say with Laviolette too, before Ethan divulges his thoughts on, again, 4 guys. If Laviolette doesn't get her, I mean, top overall prospect, who's to say he's not included in that list too? Right. I think they got it right for what these guys are playing. I think you want to see just a tad bit more out of Tommy Hawk, but the guy's just been an absolute machine since coming back. I think they're trying to get
305.
I think they're trying to get his extra base power going, right? Try to turn that speed on the base paths and get the bat a little bit better at the plate so we can turn really a single for most guys into a double. He's only got 9 on the year and 61 hits. That, to me, is probably the only thing that they're going to try to do with him, maybe develop that power a little bit more. But he's doing everything else right. Tommy Hawk's going to be a guy that's going to get called up here very soon this year. Yeah, that's it. Oh, I was going to say Jace Laviolette, again, if he's not hurt, maybe he's included, but I agree with Taven, probably not ready quite yet. Ethan, you got 4 guys to touch on here.
Well, I guess my question is it a numbers game, guys? Is it simply a numbers game? You're wondering about Hawk. You're wondering about Laviolette. Is it a matter of, do we have the spot for them right now?
Well, and here's one other guy too. Well, maybe 2 more. Bennett. Well, no, Bennett Thompson's already gotten that call, but Luke Hill there as well. Yep. I believe is still sitting down in.
Hill's with Akron.
He's played 18 games, 67 at bats, 14 runs, 15 hits. Yeah, he's at 224. So I wonder if it's a numbers game, guys, and eventually these guys will get their call up. We know how. I feel like you guys know better than I do, but I'm getting a feel for how the Guardians move these dudes through the system. And we've got a bit of a log jam at certain positions, as we know. Yep. So let's see what happens here. Is this guy still on our roster? And if so, why? Christian Knapczyk.
He's still with Akron.
He's hitting 153.
Well, last year you should have seen him, man. He was Mr. Clutch down the stretch. That guy was hitting
20
everything.
Walks and 68 strikeouts. 20 walks and 68 strikeouts and a 153 average in Double-A. Can somebody explain this to me? What is he going to do?
I wish we could see Ethan's reaction.
You have the power to show the people. So that is the decision you are making.
No, I mean, what are we talking about? 20 walks, 68 strikeouts. 3 times as many. More than 3 times as many. And he's 51 games, a 153 average. He's below the Manzardo line. He stinks. Okay.
See, this is how I have been the last 3 years with Leftwich, and some things are just not understood. Now, no way ever I would throw Knapczyk anywhere near Leftwich bad, but he's struggled a little bit this year.
Yeah, he's struggled a lot again. Like we said, last year he was kind of Mr. Clutch, would step up in all the big moments, get all the big hits. It quite simply has been that Double-A level has not been very kind to him at all. I think they're going to hold out and see what he's capable of, but with all these draft picks, depending on who's ready to join the minor leagues, you could see him go by the wayside too.
Yeah, I it's only a matter of time, guys. They can't continue to sit there and go, all right, well, let's keep playing this guy. Gabe Ari. Yeah, let's keep playing that guy. I think he's got a good hair. I like his hair. Play that guy. He's really good, real clutch.
It gets
another guy that's got some hair
longer
that you
as
like.
His ego grows.
His hair gets longer as his belt line gets bigger.
All right, we got one more promotion list to touch on. Let's talk about an 18-year-old because Junior Caceres has been tearing things up. He's been tearing the cover off the ball.
Yeah.
Under 200 at-bats, okay? I did not get up to Hill City until, I want to say, a couple weeks into the season. I don't believe he started with the club.
No, he didn't.
In under 200 at-bats, 320 average, 10 home runs, 43 RBIs, 7 stolen bases. The OPS is 9.56, and it was only a matter of time before this guy got called up. Ethan, you touched on the logjam. It was the problem at the major league club. Now it seems like the middle infielders a couple years ago, we're not going to have enough of these guys. The outfield is just getting more and more stacked with all these guys developing that are moving up from Lake County to Akron. And then Juniker Caceres. This is another guy like Alfonso Rosario that it is only a matter of time before the fans in Cleveland get to look on the Venezuelan product, because he is a stud. He is not the biggest guy on the field. He's 5'10", 168. He's very small, but the dude is a freaking gamer. I am very, very curious to see how Caceres is going to handle moving up and face tougher and tougher pitching as he goes through his minor league journey. Taven, that's the big factor for me, to see if the size really doesn't matter. If he's like a Jose Altuve in the outfield, to where, look, that's a guy that we know can game. How does he adjust to this tougher level of pitching?
1,000%. I mean, you look at this guy. Come on, man.
Sorry, Drew.
320, right? 10 bombs. He's got that power too. 7 stolen bases. Would like to see a little more stolen bases, but obviously that's not what I'm concerned about at all with him. I mean, a .956 OPS. This guy can swing it. And if you want a player comp in the minor leagues, call me crazy, but we've seen a lot of similar stat lines to Stephen Kwan when he was down there in the lower levels of the minor leagues, man. And Tommy Hawk too. I mean, those are 2 very good player comps, in my opinion. A smaller guy who swings for average, but he's got power too. So like,
and you just don't see home runs in the Carolina League.
Right. It's like Quan or Hawk when they're in the minor leagues, like great build, like the average, but with power, right? So, I mean, he's just a beast, right? We knew he was going to get up there at some point. I do want to correct something from earlier. He was actually promoted to Lynchburg July 28th of last year. I didn't know it was as soon as it was. I thought maybe tail end last year, but it seems like he's been there for a minute. But I mean, he's producing since he's ever been there. A guy that we've been talking about since he was in the ACL. So if he
must have had some time off or something, because he's got under 200 at bats.
Yeah, he might have been injured, but again, if we're raving about a guy in the ACL, you know he's special, right? You know he's got the talent, and that's exactly what he's done, and he's proved it in pro ball. It's going to be interesting to see what he sees again. See what he does over there in high A. Again, 18 years old. He's young, man. So if he struggles the first couple weeks, I'm not reading too much into that. He's just got to, open the door, just get ready to go there. But again, this guy has all the tools. One of my favorite prospects in the organization. Love to see him finally getting the call.
Ethan, touch on your thoughts on the 18-year-old moving up, and then we're going to kick it right to you with your guy, Harrison Bodendorf, who also got the call.
Yep.
Well, I mean, obviously, if he's a young guy like that moving up, a deluxe mansion, he's moving on up to the east side. Oh, sorry, I'm too old for you guys to talk about the Jeffersons here. You got to have Sherman Helmsley dancing around and talking about fish don't fry in the kitchen, beans don't burn on the grill. That sort of thing there. But yeah, obviously. Random references here. Thank you. Old man references.
Hey, that's why you're here.
I know. I bring that to the table. You
do your job very well, Ethan.
Oh, fantastic. Excellent choice. This is truly what they mean by having a face for radio. Oh, don't even get on the screen. Here's it going. But obviously,
that's because Taven's hiding you behind his graphic.
That's perfectly fine. That's where I like to be. No, I mean, certainly his numbers say all that you need to say. And as you guys mentioned, if it takes him a little while to get used to it at the next level, as the pitching gets better and better, that's not an alarming thing. We need to give it a little bit of time here because he deserves it. He's obviously shown what he can do down there in single A, and to move up to high A is fantastic. You want to talk about Harrison Bodendorf. I mean, getting to meet him live and in person and see him, I was like, wow, this guy's got some stuff. I mean, he shut down Fredericksburg. I saw him there shutting down Fredericksburg, and Fredericksburg ran away with the first half in single A in the Carolina League. It was crazy, but he has some very good stuff. He's a tall dude. I mean, I'm a short dude, but he's a tall dude. I don't have his I'm not looking at his official profile here, but I had to look up
6'5", 186.
Yeah, that sounds about right. He was a tall guy. I'm like, hey, how's it going up there? And the weather and the whatnots and the what have yous. But no, really a pleasure to meet that guy. I mean, look at his numbers. It says he's 0-2 in 10 games, 8 games started. 38 innings pitched, 54 strikeouts.
We do not put a lot of stock into pitcher records on this show, but I will finish the stat line for you. 2.84 ERA and 54 strikeouts over 38 innings pitched.
Yeah, I mean, he was very, very good when I saw him in person, and I think he's got a tremendous future. I mean, look at that. I mean, so you think about it, round 10. Round 10. What is that for people who I know, probably the people that are watching really are divested, they're very much invested in the minor leagues. If you're talking about a 10th round pick in
round 10 is
compared to like the NFL,
round 10 to me, Taven, you can feel free to give a different comparison, because I feel like once you get into the later rounds, like round 18, 19, 20, stuff like that, that's when you start like, okay, that's when your UFA signees start to really pan out at the NFL level. For me, round 10, probably looking around a very, very early day 3 draft pick, contributing really, really well at the pro level.
Yeah, it's once you get, into the double-digit rounds, it's hit or miss with some of these guys. Now, it's definitely not impossible to hit on some of them. Just
look at Isaac Martinez, look at Harrison Boner, look at some of the guys on this list. Ryan Cesarini.
Just going through some of the big league guys just to see where some of these guys were taken. Like Joey Cantillo was a round 16 pick from San Diego, who we ultimately traded. I think he was in a Clevenger deal, so that tells you how long ago we acquired Cantillo.
Oh, Clevenger. He's the gift that keeps on giving, doesn't he?
But again, like you're able to hit on some of these guys. And that's the beauty of baseball, right? I mean, you've got 20 rounds. No other sport comes close to that, right? NFL, you've got 7. NBA, you've got 2 rounds. So
right. Well, let me ask you this out of curiosity. This guy, so Harrison Bodendorf, according to the graphics here, he's a lefty. He's a lefty, which is fantastic. I love to have another good starting lefty if we can get him through the system wherever he ends up. He's from Temecula, California, and he went to college at Oklahoma State, and he's been playing down in Carolina. How do you think he will react, or do you think there will be any significant change if he's playing in Lake County or even Columbus or Akron when the weather changes? Because he comes from coming from California. I just am curious.
Well, let's take away the graphic for a second, because I think you open up a bigger question that we really have never answered on the podcast before, but I feel like Taven and I would do a good job to explain this, and that is, how can you tell how a guy is going to adjust to the level above them? More for Hill City.
Well, and I was talking about weather. I don't care
weather-wise.
I don't care.
My argument to that would be, how do you know until obviously with bad weather, people kind of assume like they're not going to pitch as well.
It might be more beneficial for a pitcher.
Again, until they're thrown in that scenario, how can you really tell? Because especially you see a lot of guys in the major leagues ERA wise, their ERA is a lot better in those months of March, April, and even early May when it's colder, because obviously that ball's not flying as much.
Unless you're Tanner Bob. I mean, no, sorry.
I wouldn't, put a ton of stock into, a warmer guy thrown in the cold, because
I was just curious about that.
I mean, no, it's a good question. It's a fair question, but I mean, no matter where, everybody kind of lands, you're going to have to adjust, because even
there's a learning curve.
Say you're a West Coast born and raised guy, and you know,
get picked by the Boston Red Sox.
What I was going with is even the San Francisco Giants. Cool, you're going to be West Coast, but once you get to Double-A, you're going to Richmond, Virginia, where you are, and there's no way it's 80, 85 come April there.
Not that early. No, not that early.
When the season starts, though.
The season starts, yeah. It's still you get springish weather here. It's warmer, obviously, than it is in Ohio, but and then during the summers you get the humidity, and it sucks. Right. But that enough of the weather report. But okay, so now to your question, which you were going on, which was how do you
I just kind of took your food for thought and ran with it. To me, weather,
you turned it into a buffet. You were like,
to me, weather. I've started to make this argument even with college football. Like, I don't care that you're from Miami. You're a professional. You play high-level college football. You should be able to adapt your body to the environment. Same thing with baseball. I know baseball is a little different because, well, any outdoor sport's different because it's going to affect how the ball feels. The ball's going to get harder as it gets colder. It's not going to fly as far, so on and so forth. You have just been able to adapt your body to the conditions that you play in.
You just got to talk to David Njoku. Just go talk to David Njoku. There's no shirts needed in the middle of December.
That's true. But with all of these promotions, it really is tough to tell how guys are going to adapt. Like a guy like Caceres, who's a little bit smaller, coming from a league like the Carolina League that is very much so built for those smaller guys that love to get on the base pass, that love to run, which I know Caceres is not a big threat on the base pass, not as much as a guy like Tommy Hawk was, or maybe even Stephen Kwan when he was down there. But moving up, how's that going to affect him? How are these pitchers? And it can go both ways. You can see a guy at the top of the prospect list not handle a promotion so well, and a round 20 pick that you're like, yeah, he's been playing well. Let's see what he's got. Continue that momentum. So not much to add. I just think that's what makes baseball fun, because it's a crapshoot. More ways than one.
Well, and I'll add this, Taven, just to your point, because it is a crapshoot. You see guys not just at the D1 level getting drafted and succeeding. You're seeing guys who are at the D3 level find their way into the draft and the minor league system and having success. It's not as often as these other guys at the D1 schools, the bigger schools, but it does happen, and that's just kind of like, you never know where you're going to find talent. And it's one of those things where in certain situations, you can play baseball at smaller schools. And it's not because, like, if you think about basketball players and the average height of guys playing in D1 versus guys playing at D3, there's a certain threshold. Essentially, you're like, well, the guys at D1 are going to be faster, a little bit bigger generally, blah, 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 blah. Maybe you don't see that much of a variance in a sport like baseball, where you can go to 100%. You can go to a D3 school, a smaller school, and it's not because you're a short guy. It's not because of whatever. You can have all the talent in the world there.
You talk about, I mean, not just the college front, but especially where guys are drafted. Let's just take Quan, for example, and let's forget about this year for 1 second.
Hey, he's starting to turn it around. I'm liking what I'm seeing out of him.
But the guy's been an all-star, constantly. I got to look at what draft pick he was, but, nobody knew who this guy was unless you're really into the farm system and you really follow it. Nobody knew who Stephen Kwan was really coming up through the organization. He was a round 5 pick, so he was pretty high, but he was never a top 10 prospect for us, right? You look at a guy like, Bradley Zimmer or a guy like Tristan McKenzie. They were the talk of the town throughout the minor leagues. You were buying tickets to watch those guys play and see what the future of Cleveland was about. In a couple promotions, they're not the same guy they were. So, that definitely goes back to that point you were making, how guys adjust to certain promotions too. Some guys might act differently to some, like Nate said, and then it's baseball is one of the weirdest sports where that can happen, because football, if you're the guy, you're going to be, it's the odds are in your favor. You're going to be the guy all the way. But baseball, man, it could switch like that with a guy who was taken in the 20th round. He could be the dude once you get to the majors, and the guy that was drafted in the first round could be out the door in AAA.
Tristan McKenzie. Oh my God, I'm having nightmares thinking about him. What if he just would have had the surgery?
Do we want to check his ERA right now? That's a game I've been playing this year.
It's a game.
That's a game that you will lose every time, because I will never go to bed happy after looking at what Tristan McKenzie's throwing.
AAA.
Oh, he is. Okay, with who?
For the
Padres, right?
The Padres. They must have lost a bet. And his ERA in AAA right now for the Padres is 15.98.
How many innings?
That's a good question. How many innings? Where are we at?
I'll try and find out.
Mike from the UK brings up a good point here too.
16 innings. So
yeah,
I assume more.
Mike from the UK brings up a good point too. Cade Smith went undrafted,
and that's a great point right there. I mean, that's the guy you want to really talk about when you talk about this stuff.
That's a rare spot from someone going undrafted to working out at the major league
level. And
it happens a time or two in the NFL. It doesn't happen in baseball.
100%. And Cade Smith was actually picked up by the Minnesota Twins. They said, no, thanks. We're good. Straight up released him. We picked him up, and now he's, leading the league.
Now he's great. Now he's fantastic.
Thank goodness. Thank goodness for him and his Tim Horton loving butt.
Well, we got to touch on these releases now. Some of them might shock. So obviously we'll start at the top of the list here from Columbus. Tommy Mace and Joe Lampe. Both of those guys are gone. Tommy Mace might be a surprise to some, but you take a look at what the guy's done lately. Obviously, a Florida prospect, was drafted in 2021. He's been in the organization for a long time. He's 27, and he still just has not made that major league debut. 5.80 ERA this year in 40 and a third innings. He just doesn't have the strikeout stuff. In fact, he has pitched 100 more innings than he has strikeouts through his minor league career. The record is not that bad. The ERA is not that bad, but this is one of those releases to me that you take a look at the log jam and the healthiest starting pitching rotation as it continues to be throughout Major League Baseball. Tommy Mace is still sitting behind some of the guys that might even come up promotion behind him. So it's unfortunate to see Tommy Mace go, but that's why that happened. And then it's pretty easy now, after we've touched on the additions and the promotions and the logjam we have in the outfield, to see why Joe Lampe got let go. Now, he's another surprise because he's a guy that, much like Tommy Mace, has been in the organization for quite some time. He's 25 years old. He was a 2022 draft pick. His minor league numbers overall are not fantastic. He's strung together a couple good moments, mainly throughout his time in Akron, a little bit here and there in Columbus, but just not producing at the level you need him to. And with the logjam of outfielders coming behind him, with Velasquez, Rosario, Caceres, Walton, so on and so forth, pretty obvious why those two got let go. So the shocks for me do not come from Columbus. Quick thoughts on the Clippers letting a couple men walk.
Yeah, I mean, first off, this is pretty much a draft show, right? That's going to be our next topic, like we said, but we're getting into the transactions a lot because that revolves around the draft. And when you talk about the draft and the high draft picks, like we just mentioned, some of them not panning out. Joe Lampe, a round 3 pick, pick 92 from Arizona State, and Tommy Mace, competitive round B, overall pick 69 from Florida. And considering we just took a pitcher from Florida in the first round, that's not very, very nice to look at. But when you look at Mace, he's a strange guy because he's always had good records. And this year he's been 4-0. I mean, we don't look into records much, but like we say, when you've got a good record, you're doing something right. Last year, I mean, he strung together a good season. He had a sub-4 ERA. I want to say it was the 3.7 when I just last looked at it a couple minutes ago. But this year, the ERA just hasn't been there, man. He's been getting shelled. He's an older guy, like we've mentioned. And when you have guys lined up in front of him, as an Austin Peterson and all these other guys that I would give a chance before Mace, I don't really see a spot for him. And you could say maybe a bullpen role, but I mean, would you really try him out over a Will Dion? I don't think I would. So again, it's just a case of a guy who, again, I mean, he was a top 15 prospect, I'm pretty sure, at one point. So there was a lot of stock in this guy. And when he was down in Akron, I had high hopes for him. I really did. But ultimately, it just didn't pay out. And then Joe Lampe, I mean, a great dude, liked everything he was about. He was fun to watch. But again, a guy who never cracked the 250 in the batting average his entire time with us. His best season, he had 249. Which you can get away with. But again, when you only have one home run on top of that, you got to have power average. And if you can't hit for either, you're more than likely out your way in the organization. 18 RBIs this year, 11 stolen bases. So he could run the bases. He can play defense well, but you've got enough guys that are able and capable of doing both. One of those cases, again, guys that they weren't like a root problem where you had to get rid of them. Solid players, showed spurts at times, but again, weren't what they were when you didn't live up to the hype of where you drafted them. And there's just too many guys ahead, and ultimately age and, time does come into that. And that's why they're way out the door.
Reed Johnston is another one as we start out the Akron list. That doesn't really shock you that much, although the story with Johnston is a whole lot different. He's been in the organization for a long time, was a 2021 draft pick in round 19. Yeah. He was really panning out fairly decently. However, 2022, 2023 was moving his way through the ranks, and then I honestly don't know what happened. I don't know if it was the injury bug. I don't know if there was other stuff going on. Didn't pitch in 24, didn't pitch in 25, came back this year in 2026. Every year he's played, they've promoted him 1 year. Made sense to stick him in Akron. 1-5 record, 4.99 ERA, moved from more of a starting role to a bullpen role. So in 24 games pitched, only 30 and 2/3 innings, has allowed 5 home runs, only 30 strikeouts. The batting average to opposing players, the whip, the basically everything was just not as good as you were used to seeing. And obviously with a guy who you tried to play in a changing role, it didn't work out with some of the bullpen arms that we've drafted and that are coming up through the organization. It made sense to let him go. So I don't think there's much more to say on Reed Johnston.
Nope.
Thank you, by the way, to Mace, Lampe, and Johnston for all you did for the organization. Now let's get to the shockers. Ethan, start you off with Jack Carey. To me, not the biggest name up there because there's the outfielder we got to touch on.
Right.
But,
it was just
you mentioned the stats of Jack Carey. What were they? Read them out for us.
Oh, well, now you made me read. They're having me read them out when I've already gone to the other page, but I will read them for you. Give me 1 second to to get back to that for Jack Carey
for a minute.
1-1 on the season, a 4.86 ERA, 23 games, 2 saves and 2 save opportunities, 33 1/3 innings, 27 hits, 20 runs, 18 of those earned, allowed 2 long balls. He hit 5 batters, walked 30, and struck out 31. I mean, I've seen worse. I've seen.
Well, there's the problem.
Is he a casual? Again, is he a casualty of just he's not good enough? We need to move other guys. We need to elevate others, and we can't keep him here. And we've got people coming up from Hill City and so on and so forth. We just don't have room for this person anymore.
It might be. I mean, when you read out those numbers, and obviously I don't have them in front, so I'm going based off of what you said. It seems like the control might be a little bit of a problem for him. I mean, when you get an even amount of walks to strikeouts, normally that starts to tail towards the strikeouts eventually, even as you get as many innings as Jack Carey was getting, and the ERA being where it was. I think he's also a product of exactly what you were alluding to. There are guys below him that I think that they're more excited about than Jack Carey. But Taven, I'll let you take it over. To me, maybe not as big a surprise as I may have thought that it was, because his numbers are not as great as I thought that they were. But like Ethan said, I've seen worse. There's worse numbers going on in the organization right now. But definitely a product of, again, he's an older guy, a 2021 draft pick, which was actually a pick of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Yep.
And came over to the Guardians organization this year. He had pitched mainly in Akron. He pitched 2 games in Columbus, and just not in love with the guy.
Yeah, round 11 pick from the Duke Blue Devils. Going back to his logs, I mean, he was only with us this year, so ultimately it came down to a numbers game, like you said. I mean, the stats weren't that bad at all. But again, a guy that you just didn't really have a lot of stake in, and I feel like it kind of comes down to that as well. Judging by or looking at his transactions, it says we got him December 10th from the AAA phase of the Rule 5 draft. So took him. Obviously, you see Peyton Pallette, who started the year with us. He's no longer with us. So very short leash when it comes to these guys from the Rule 5 draft, it seems like. And Carey, obviously, just one of those. Wasn't amazing with his time with us. And it seems like that's kind of what you have to be if you want to stick around as a Rule 5 draft pick, because you're going to have to throw him a contract that next year if you really want him. So ultimately, it came down to a numbers game, and
quite
Carey
honestly,
didn't impress.
Yeah, and quite honestly, too, I mean, his numbers just, even though they are not that bad and there are worse going on throughout, this is probably the worst minor league season that he's had. Yeah. The ERA, I believe, over the past 4 seasons, the ERA is the worst that he's had. He's not striking guys out. He's walking too many guys. The home runs have not been a problem for him, but the whip is really, really, really high. 1.75. That's hitting independent pitching, meaning just I could sit here and try to explain that forever. It probably still wouldn't make sense. Regardless, around 1 is good for whip. 1.2, 1.3. His 1.75, that's pretty concerning. The batting average to opposing hitters is not too concerning. Probably, again, just a product of the system. Short leash on the Rule 5 guys. Like
ultimately, in my opinion, when you look at Carey, you drafted him in that Rule 5 draft to obviously come in and make an immediate impact, not a guy that you have to build upon. And ultimately, he didn't progress at all in a sense. And
they had him. They
started to become a project where you kind of had to build up, if that makes sense.
Right, and he did make a couple appearances in Columbus. He had in 2 games, 4 1/3 innings pitched, 4 hits, 2 runs, 2 of them earned, 5 walks, and 1 strikeout. So like you talked about, they wanted him to make an immediate impact, and obviously he didn't do it in his very short stint in Columbus, but his numbers, although not the worst, they're not the best. And now that we're kind of going through it, it certainly makes a little bit more sense now when you take into consideration all of the other moves. But it was just funny that Nate, when you were going through the week that was and the stats, and we're looking at Casey, I'm like, hey, this guy, or Carey, I'm like, oh, he's not doing too badly here. Like, well, now I get it.
Well, and maybe this can come to light a little bit too when we talk about Wilfredo Antunes, because that's probably the biggest name and the biggest shock. Look, this is a guy that's been a very slow mover through the organization. Actually came in very, very young as an international prospect, and was I don't remember where he was in 2019, but in 2019 played a little bit of rookie ball, 15 games, then kind of disappeared for a little bit, came back in 2022, was with the Complex League in Arizona, played 5 games with then the Lynchburg Hellcats before moving into a full-time role with the Single A Club in 2023, and he's just been a very slow riser through the organization. Again, was only in Akron and was having a career worst year. Now, 12 home runs, was one of the leaders on Akron this year. So the guy's known for his power, but he really has not been doing much else. The batting average, a career low 196. Not even in his slow building years did he have that bad. His batting average has always been above 250, so he's well below his marks there. OPS, same thing. On base percentage, slugging, same thing. And even the stolen base category too. This guy's just appeared to have gotten slower. He gets caught stealing fairly often, but 11 steals in 22, 11 in 23, 19 in 24, 16 in 25, and only 2 this year with 3 caught stealing. Not great. The walk to strikeout ratio has not been there. He's not driving in runs at the clip that you need him to. So that to me is the biggest shocker, because the potential is there for Antunes and we've seen it. It's just the product of, look, there's a logjam in the outfield position right now, and this guy's having a career worst year. So even though with some guys, they'd give him that free pass to see if he can rebound, kind of like what they're doing with Christian Knapczyk right now. Antunes, unfortunately, does not get that same leash, and he has been released.
Yeah, that kind of log jam is the one that you call when you have to call in a plumber to fix that kind of log jam.
You talk about, obviously that leash, I think, is the biggest part. Once you get to AA, I think that leash gets a lot shorter. You tend to see a lot of guys get cut at that AA level. And Antunes, again, a guy nobody ever really thought was going to be the saving grace of this big league club, I think. But again, we saw the potential there. In 2024, he hit 306 with that Lake County team, and he was a big piece and a big reason on why they went on that run at the end and won the championship in 2024. So I think we all had, big and high hopes for Antunes, again, a guy that we've had for a while. And then, again, he relayed that great start in Lake County at the end of 24 into 2025, and he hit 275 there. I mean, the guy it seemed like he was hitting great. And then it seemed like since the beginning of the year, it's been the same narrative around him in a sense. Wherever recap, Nate would kind of go, all right, he's starting slow. Hopefully we can pick it up. And he's just never picked it up this year. And ultimately that's so.
Yeah, well, here's the other thing about Antunes.
Thank God Mike's back. Thank goodness Mike is back.
Here's the other thing that's interesting to talk about Antunes too, and it's the international draft prospect leash. We talk about how guys in the Rule 5 draft, okay, you need them to perform. You've been around the game for a while. We picked you up for a reason. Let's see the production. Internationally, guys, they tend to get a longer leash than most. Bo Naylor obviously has that leash because he's a top-end draft pick, and I think they're still trying to find – well, I think they're also still trying to find a trade suitor for him. But when you talk about Wilfredo Antunes, I was really excited to see his potential. But again, like you said, just seems like every time we touch on Akron this year, all right, he'll get there. All right, he'll get there. All right, he'll get there. And it just has never worked out. So there's all your transactions. Holy crap, almost 80 minutes into the show, we've finally touched on everything. Are we ready to talk about the draft prospects now? If we are, again, positive sandwich. There are the cuts. Thank you, Tommy Mace, Joe Lampe, Wilfredo Antunes, Reed Johnston, Jack Carey, everything you did for the organization for however many years you did it. And let's talk about some of the new faces, shall we? We ready? All right. Well, Tommy Mace, a pitcher from Florida gets cut, and a pitcher from Florida comes in. Liam Peterson was that first-round draft prospect. So welcome to the big league club. Liam Peterson got him at pick number 19. Now, here's what you got to understand about Liam Peterson. Your natural instinct, look at the numbers, right? What did the numbers tell you? The numbers don't tell you that great of stuff about Liam Peterson. Overall in his Gator career, I believe the ERA touched around 5, if not was already there. But this guy's got a fastball that can top out at 99 miles an hour, mid-80 slider. He's got a 12-6 curve, and he's also just got a changeup that, while it hasn't developed yet, has the potential to get something pretty darn nice in for the Guardian system this year. And it adds to this pitching depth, right? It's not a lefty like I think a lot of guys wanted to take. And I also had my eyes on Cam Fluky, the guy out of Coastal Carolina. I think Liam Peterson can be a solid start. It's not a flashy guy like Bazana or Laviolette that you end up taking with this first round pick. But he's a solid guy whose numbers I don't think tell the full story. And like Mike has pointed out in the comments, pitchers from Florida usually tend to struggle when they get into the major league level. And obviously Yep, and obviously Jack Caglione has moved out of that pitching role, and he is solely playing the field with the Kansas City Royals. So we'll see how things happen for Liam Peterson. Before he joined Florida, he was an MLB draft prospect in 2023 and still went round one even after his collegiate career. Maybe didn't go the way that he and some others hoped, but the guy still got some top-end stuff.
Personally, I love the pick, right? We went position player the past 2 years. This year we've looked at the pitching, right? It's struggled, man. And in my opinion, you needed to take at least, your first 5 rounds. I think at least 3 of those picks needed to be pitchers, right? Obviously, round 1, I wanted a pitcher bad. You got him. Big dude. He's 6'5". So, there's that Bodendorf. There's that Gavin Williams height. He's a junior, so he's been there a minute, right? So an older guy, you get him. No reason, in my opinion, you put him in Lynchburg if there's no injury whatsoever with the guy. Nothing. If he's ready to go, straight to Lake County, in my opinion, for Liam. But again, I like the pick. There's the narrative that Florida pitchers tend to struggle, which you can't ignore. But again, you drafted him for a reason. The pitching factory, they obviously know what they're doing. Got the big guy, got a round 1 pitcher. I'm a fan. I'm in on him.
I mean, you would hope that pitching in a program like Florida for this guy, for Peterson or anybody, you would hope that because of the high level of competition you're facing, that you would be well prepared for making it, getting drafted into the minor league system, etc. But obviously you can't prepare them for everything. Let's certainly hope that his numbers don't tell the complete story, because if you do, as you mentioned, Nate, if you look at the numbers, they're not overly impressive in the least. I mean, his best year, his second year in Florida, he goes 8-4. His total collegiate career. Are we serious? We're talking. Think about it from this perspective. If I told you had a college quarterback that started 3 seasons and they went under 500 in their career, in 30 games, they went 14-16. Are you serious? Are we seriously? Would you take him? No, I wouldn't take him. I'd be like, I'm not taking this guy in the first round. You can get the heck out of here with that. But here we are. Baseball first round, different story. But 14-16 in his collegiate career, 5.03 overall ERA, 1 complete game. But this year he did pitch 84 1/3 innings. 84 1/3 innings, 43 earned runs, gave up 11 long balls, 36 walks to 111 strikeouts. So that's, I think, a key right there. You mentioned it. Tops out, 99, you say, Nate? Mm-hmm. And with that height, and you get them into this system, we know how to work pitchers, so hopefully they can do their magic with this guy. Certainly won't hurt to continue to build up the ranks of our pitching prospects.
Well, and here's the other trend, too, that you have to understand with this organization and drafting pitchers. It especially comes as we talk about the round 2 draft pick in Logan Schmidt. He's a lefty who is the youngest player in the draft. He is 17 years old. Reclassified, he's an LSU commit, so he obviously got picked up here.
He's 17? Time out. Yep. Am I looking at the wrong guy? Logan Schmidt. There's more than one Logan Schmidt, huh?
There might be, but this is the guy out of Ganesha High School. I believe that is in Florida, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe. I actually don't think that's right. Nope. Yep. California. I was thinking.
That's hilarious. There's a right-handed pitcher named Logan Schmidt from Orange Park, Florida, who played at Xavier. I was getting confused there. I was looking up the wrong guy. My bad.
Well, so here's what you can expect to with Logan Schmidt. Obviously, it's hard to get high school stats and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
Played the field, too.
Right. They obviously drafted him for his arm. Now, here's what you got to understand with the way that this organization drafts pitchers. The numbers at Florida, are what they are. He reclassified, yes. Yeah. Yep, that's true. Again, still be 17. He's an LSU recruit, but he reclassified to be done with high school early, I believe this year, actually. I don't believe 27, but you absolutely could be right on that. there as well. Regardless, they look at the stuff. The 5 ERA is not encouraging. When you look at the numbers from Liam Peterson, they are not encouraging. When you look at Logan Schmidt, though, still everything that Liam Peterson has got. The fastball does not top out as high as 99. He sits around 94, 95 for the 93, 94 for the most part, with the ability to get to 95, 96. And his deception, especially out of that left-handed arm slot, is what makes him really good, because his slider, it's not your typical like mid-80s slider. He throws it like a curveball. It's 78 miles per hour at its slowest. So really changing the eye level and the speed and the timing of the hitter. There's that feel for a changeup there too. And he just misses bats, man. That's just what he's done all throughout his high school career. So we'll see which path he goes. I believe you still get drafted. You can still go the collegiate route. You can still come here to the organization. But the guy's got some tools, and even though the fastball is not super high velocity, it's not going to be a Jacob Mizorowski story with Logan Schmidt. Some of his off-speed pitches are really what makes this guy sing.
Yeah, last time you went with a high school pitcher, I believe, was Braylon Doty. This high, at least. I mean,
Doty, Joey Oakey.
Yeah, so I mean, you've got Doty, you've got Oki, and I mean the way that they've worked with those guys, they've looked fine. Yeah, the runs have been a little shaky at times, but I mean, you've seen glimpses of the stuff that they have, and I've really liked what we've seen. So again, I like the pick to an extent, right? I mean, I'm not the biggest high school guy early. I do like college a little bit just because obviously they're ready to go. But then again, the upside is you can kind of mold these guys into what you want, especially if you take them out of high school. So there's more time to work with them to an extent. I do like that he's a lefty. I really like that they went righty-lefty pitcher right out the gate. So you've got both of those going. Again, maybe wouldn't have went high school that early, but again, you can, the only bright spot to that is you can mold him into what you want. It's going to take time before we see him in pro ball, but definitely a name that we're going to be following heavy here, and especially the ACL Complex League coming up in the at the end of the year and definitely next year too.
Well, if he was committed to go to LSU, that says a lot. And he's a prospect expecting to go to an SEC school, a very good school with a very good baseball pedigree in LSU. I'm sure we could ask Albert Bell about it, amongst others. So I kind of don't mind the fact that, as you mentioned, Nate, he doesn't have that overpowering fastball, but he mixes in and can change speeds. Sometimes it's that
you got to watch his slider, dude. It's unlike any slider I've ever seen. It's stupidly slow. You'd think he's throwing a curveball, and it's got like a 3/4 motion. It's like a moon ball. I don't know how you hit it.
Right, and that sort of thing. If you as you go through the ranks, and as you mentioned, Taven, they can mold you into what they want.
Yep.
That allows you to be able to throw those types of pitches and be deceptive. So you don't need an overpowering fastball. You can mix it all up. And if you can throw that pitch, the off-speed pitch, the slider, if you can throw that for strikes and you can be effective with it, and then they're ready for a 78-mile-an-hour ball and you hit them with 94, that's going to feel so like crazy fast to try and catch up to that, just because of the eye speed and the bat speed to catch up with that. So I don't mind that at all, that kind of a mixture. But as you guys have mentioned, it's going to take some time before we see this guy, make his way through the ranks.
Well, another thing I like especially too is, I mean, you look at all the pitchers that we have right now, it's righty, 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 righty. The fact that this guy's a lefty too, and you're able to mix him in with a slider that not many guys are able to throw, coming out of that arm slot, he's got the tools to be something special. It's just going to take time ultimately. And I think from what I've seen, the couple highlights just scrolling right now, I mean, the kid can throw. So
let's move on to the round 3 draft pick. And this is the guy that I think, look, we'll see how Liam Peterson develops. We'll see how Logan Schmidt develops. This is the guy that I'm starting to get really excited about, especially what he can do from an immediate impact. And it's a speedy lefty center fielder named Trey Broussard. This guy is an STUD stud. He was a Big 12 honorable mention. He made the Silver Glove Series team, which is one of the best fielding teams in the ranks of collegiate baseball. He's 8th all-time on Houston's career base stealing list. He stole 56 bags in 64 attempts over 2 seasons, and this year led the team with a 344 batting average, and his 321 led the team in Big 12 play, finished second on the team with 56 hits. So this is the guy that can do it all, but what sets him above the rest and exactly why he's getting drafted in round 3, plus speed. The guy's a speedster. Yep. He can do it with his defense in the outfield. He can do it on the base paths. So you talk about that log jam in the outfield. There's another guy that creates more of a problem, and he's going to be a problem as you see him climb through the ranks. I'm stoked for this pick right here. Stoked.
Absolutely love it. Like you touched on. I mean, a college guy with a lot of experience, outfielder, love to have those. And then on top of it, man, this guy's so fun to watch in the field. The speed that this guy possesses, and especially on the base path. You go back to 2025 season, he swipes 31 bags. This past year, 25 bags. I mean, the speed that this guy has, he's the ultimate player. He hits for average. He's got a little bit of power in that bat as well. So definitely going to be fun to see where they start this guy out at. Potentially Lake County, in my opinion. I mean, he's already got the stuff, it seems like, to where he could even, maybe even skip Lynchburg. Ultimately, that's just opens up another door of where do you have room and whatnot. But again, I love everything that this guy's about. He's got the speed. I love me an outfielder with some speed, man. So he's just going to be one hell of a guy to watch play.
So you're telling me we got a center fielder. We drafted a center fielder who hits and throws left-handed and is really fast and can steal a lot of bags. I can't seem to remember. We seem to have had a pretty good luck with this one guy. I think he wore number 7. I think his name was Kenny Lofton. He was pretty fast and was pretty good in the field and batted left-handed and could steal some bases. He was no Alex Cole, but he was pretty good.
I'm telling you, get really excited for Trey Broussard. We'll see how he does once he gets here and where they sit him. But I would be absolutely floored. And floored in a bad way. I know that word can go both ways. I'd be floored in the bad way if you don't see him at least play some in Hill City by the time this season is over. Yep. I think that guy's that good.
He's a beast, man. Yep, absolute steal in my opinion.
No pun intended, huh?
We'll start rolling through these a little bit faster. Cade Lewis is the round 4 draft pick, and you see him coming out of Wake Forest. So this is another guy that comes from the Wake Forest pipeline, is stupidly talented in that infield role. Cade Lewis this year, he appeared in pretty much every single game, and I mean has just been absolutely phenomenal. He broke into college baseball in the Big East Conference. He won the Big East batting title with a 377. Then he transferred in over to Wake Forest, and he's just been putting up some absolutely lights out numbers. He puts out lights out numbers in the Cape Cod Summer League there as well. Bam, there you go. 371, 450. I believe that this is the stat line for Cade Lewis. Over a 1 OPS. I'm going to go ahead and confirm that that's who it was, and we weren't throwing up the stat line for Trey Broussard. I don't believe that's the case, though. I believe that you just saw there from Mike from the UK. Cade Lewis, man, yep, 376 batting average is what the official Wake Forest website says. That was his sophomore year. And man, I'm all over the place. The information on Cade Lewis is all over the place here. So 376 last year, 371 this year. The guy can hit, swing, 1.36 OPS. Started in every game that he played in. And he's a guy that I believe, I'm trying to figure out what position exactly he plays.
Well, they list him on the MLB.com.
Right.
They list him as a first baseman.
Right.
I think when I pulled him up initially, why did I think I saw he plays third base? But I
think it's on the picture.
Yeah, I believe on the pictures it said third base that I pulled up. But either way, he's an infield.
Regardless.
He's an infield glove, and seems like he's got some definite possibilities.
And we take, I mean, whatever you're drafted as, more than likely, that's not going to stick with the way that this organization
No,
sort of
no.
worked in a sense. Like, we drafted Ralphie as a catcher. When's the last time that guy caught?
Right. Right.
So here's, I found much better information, by the way, from much better information about Cade Lewis than what I had up before. Again, tore it up at Butler his first year in the Big East, was the freshman of the year, so on and so forth. Had 13 home runs this year for the Demon Deacons, 58 RBIs in 59 games played, and he pretty much split time between first and third. So they're going to figure out where they'd rather have him. And that might very well determine on what happens at the big league club, because look, you're starting to get on the tail end of Jose's career. Do you want him backing up and playing that third base role, or are you expecting him to come through the ranks more quickly and you're going to stick him over at first? Or do you play him at both? Do you see what he's got? Regardless, he'll play the hot corner, or he's got a nasty glove over there at first base, and a guy that you've seen hit over 350 every year of his collegiate career. He's a good dynamic player and another good prospect from Wake Forest.
He's a beast.
Okay, we will move on from him. Give me 1 second. I will throw up the round 5 pick, Lucas Moore. We're going to go to Louisville. The Cardinals have put together some really, really good major league players in the past, and Lucas Moore very well could be one of them. So for Lucas, when you take a look at the stat line for him, give me 1 second. I'm pulling it up.
I've got it here now. Again, this is Baseball Reference. His most recent season, this past season at Louisville. Let's see, in 57 games, he hit .286. The on-base percentage only of .437. OPS is 842, so not too shabby. Slugging percentage 406. Let's see here. I'm trying to find it. He's got, as my page moves around on me, 37 stolen bases this season, 7 times caught. But in his career at Louisville last year, he stole 53 bases and was only caught 1 time. So
here's the scouting report. Yep, and that goes exactly wrong with the scouting report on Lucas Moore, one of the fastest players in collegiate baseball, and the Cincinnati native, going back to the state of Ohio, but we'll come up to the northeast side.
Yeah, like I mentioned, I mean, love the pick here. Like the speedy outfielders, just like with our round 3 pick, you got Lucas Moore. Those 2 guys, man, on the same team, good luck trying to throw them out. I mean, you've got speed for days in that outfield. No fly zone. Again, 2 guys that went to college, so wouldn't be shocked. Maybe not more because he's a round 5 pick, but if we see these guys in Lake County soon, you throw those 2 guys out there with Hawk, good luck trying to get a hit in that outfield.
Okay, round 6 pick, Deaton LaChance. He is a catcher from Oklahoma, and this was one of the guys that really, really, really came on to help Oklahoma make a run to the College World Series finals last year and win it this year. So coming out of college as a champion, Deaton LaChance will back up this catching standpoint here this season as well. So he is not a native of the States, by the way. He is a native of Quebec. 31 homers in 2 seasons at community college before transferring into Oklahoma, and 18 homers in his final 33 contests. Guy's got some power.
One season at Oklahoma. I mean, absolutely impressive. He went, in the summer league, and he's 19 years old at Wausau of the, I don't know what NWDS summer league is. He hits 140 at Hyannis, and I know that's up in the Northeast. The Cape Cod Baseball League and the summer league, he hits 269. This season at Oklahoma, 327 batting average and a 1.005 OPS. This guy, as you said, he can certainly swing the stick. He had, 12 doubles, 2 triples, 18 bombs, 69 ribby. So I like the prospects there. Obviously, we need to keep loading up our catcher room. We're doing a very nice job there. Anything to get rid of Bo Naylor.
Like Ethan said, love loading up the catching room. Love what everything this guy's about. Big power guy, and he hits for average. I mean, that's rare, man. 18 bombs, like you mentioned, 327 batting average. Again, doing it at the highest level at Oklahoma, playing the best competition. What else can you ask for out of a catcher, man? This guy seems like the complete package.
This is the guy that Mike from the UK mentioned in the comment section a little bit ago. He's the round 7 pick, and it's Savion Sims. So according to the scouting report that I have in front of me, he's got a 3/4 arm angle, throws as a righty, but he is a guy that, again, massive dude on the mound. He's got a 6'8", 250-pound frame, or 215, sorry, not 250, 215-pound frame. His fastball usually tops out at 97, but must have been throwing a little hard at the combine because he touched triple digits at some point, but he can have a fastball that can develop into top end stuff. Again, it reaches triple digits with some more carry, and that velocity should only continue to get better. He is the gem arm in the high school class. So being able to get not only a high school lefty, but a high school righty, having Sims and Schmidt, I think, come up through the organization together. I think they're going to learn a lot from each other. I think they're going to feed off each other because Sims could help Schmidt with the velocity, while Schmidt could help Sims with the breaking stuff, which is the area that both of those respective pitchers need to work on. But a guy from Prestonwood Christian High School in Texas, love it. Think it's a good pick in round 7.
Did we read his height yet?
Yeah, 6'8".
Wow. Yeah, he obviously there's some work to be done for sure, right? Obviously that high school guy, but like you mentioned, I mean, those two guys are going to feed off each other. The velo is huge for this guy. I mean, I like everything he's about. Would like to see him get a little more weight on. Obviously, skinnier pitchers don't seem to tend well, but again, we've seen a lot of guys work in the minor leagues and gain that weight. And with that weight, I think his velo will get better, right? So definitely a lot to work with here. 6'8", absolutely unbelievable. I mean, 6 foot in Rosario looks tall. 6'8", come on.
Well, when you start talking about 6'8", and you're talking about the height, the weight, and such, obviously we talked a little earlier about Tristan McKenzie and such.
And it's tough not to go there, but that's where the mind goes.
But that being said, I don't think Randy Johnson ever put on any weight.
Yeah, true.
So this is about using that length. And look at how Cade Smith's a bigger guy, but he's tall too. He's well over 6 foot, right? I don't have it up numbers up in front of me, but I'm pretty certain if I recall correctly, he's over 6 foot.
If I had to guess, he's
use that because
6'2".
when you get into your throwing motion, that distance between the pitching rubber and the plate becomes seemingly that much smaller, that much shorter, the way the ball is going to come out, and it makes it that much more difficult for the batter. So I think that having a guy like Sims and with his size and such, that is something working in his favor, and let's hope that he can be as good as apparently the Guardians think he can be.
And Smith 6'5", 230. So he's the close to height, but he's got about 70 pounds more, which is I think it was Sims was what, 165 is what I saw.
Did you say 160? I thought you said he was bigger than
215.
that. 215.
Oh, he's 215.
Yeah.
At 6'8", if you're 165, we gotta have some talks.
I think that's McKenzie then. Or maybe not.
Probably.
It was somebody. McKenzie, 6'5", 165.
Whoa, that was string bean.
I think you are. Your BMI might be negative.
It may very well be.
Because Holderman's skinny too. I got to see what he is. Holderman's.
Well, we'll move on to Matt Scott. We'll move on to Matt Scott, who is a big dog as he hails from the University of Georgia, and he is massive, 6'6" or 6'7", depending on where you look, and touches around 235, 240. So he's a massive arm on the mound, and this is your bullpen guy. This is the bullpen arm that they drafted, much like Liam Peterson. The numbers are not going to stand out to you. They're not going to be great. He's got over a 4 ERA, but 5 saves, 76 walks, and posted a 7-0 record. Did start for a time or two and got touched up when he was on the biggest stage in the College World Series, made one relief appearance against Oklahoma, but was a linchpin in that Georgia bullpen. And he's a guy that, again, has just got all the stuff that you need to succeed at this level. And the frame really, really helps him out too.
Like you said, like the pick a lot. Going to get that bullpen arm, I think, is big. You at least got to get one a draft, in my opinion, that you're looking to just turn into a straight bullpen guy. And I like it because a lot of the bullpen guys, like I mentioned earlier in the show, were starters at one point. This guy, you're just going to continue to work with him out of the bullpen. So I really like everything what he's about. ERA could have been a little better, but then again, he is going against the best competition, especially down the stretch, like you mentioned, against Oklahoma. With that loaded team, but 7-0 out the pen, you're doing something right. Like everything this guy's about, and we're getting some big boys in this draft, man. It seems like everybody's well over 6'4". We're building a basketball team.
Yeah, as long as he's better than Matt Festa.
Yeah, that's not tough to do. The bar is incredibly low.
Mario Pesca is the next guy that we have got to talk about. Guess what? He's another big guy. When you take a look at, again, depending on what source you look at, this guy's 6'8", dude. So just continue to pile upon the big pitchers. He's from the Bronx and started his career over at St. John's before transferring over to Oklahoma State. Put up some pretty good numbers this past season. So looking to carry over his former Cowboy and Harrison Bodendorf. They now join the same organization, which you love to see stories like that. That's pretty cool. Ethan, you got stats up on this guy? I have not gotten them up yet.
I do have him up. So his this season at Oklahoma State, a 7-5 overall record, ERA 5.86. The RA9 runs average per 9, 5.99. 19 games, 10 of them started, 1 complete game, 2 saves. 70 2/3 innings pitched, 78 hits, 47 runs, 46 of those earned, 10 home runs allowed, walked 31, struck out 80. Is that hit? Okay. Wait, he was hit by a pitch or he hit somebody by a pitch? I would assume that's 13 hit batters.
Yeah, 13 hit batters.
All right. So, I mean, it's not something that you're going, oh my God, this is the best thing ever. But I mean, 80-31 in terms of strikeouts to walks. I like that. It's more than a 2-to-1 ratio. I like that. Certainly you'd like, a lower ERA. Hey, would you take that? Sure. I'd like a little bit lower ERA, but if he can prove the track record here or carry on this Oklahoma State pipeline like Bodendorf, I'll be pretty happy with that.
I think Bodendorf's a perfect, comp to this guy. Both very tall guys, same school, and round 9 pick here. Bodendorf was round 10 last year, right? So it's essentially like you're getting the same guy, which is really good, right? Bodendorf's been, great this season for us. Like everything is about, and as long as Pesca doesn't rhyme with Festa, we'll be good.
Time to run through the rest of these draft picks because now we're in the double digits. So this is where you really get into a lot of the coin. Well, most draft picks are coin flips anyway, but here's where you get into most of the coin flip guys. So this is your round 10 pick. Ryan Bilka out of the University of Miami. The Guardians love taking players from the Florida ranks, and he's been everywhere. So actually just got into the ACC this year, spent 2 seasons at Wagner before transferring over to Richmond, and then finished his career over at Miami. He is not a massive guy, okay? But he's still got a good frame. I think he's 6'1", sitting right around 200 pounds. The ERA took quite a big jump, which I think you would expect when you take that jump in competition compared to A10 baseball and ACC baseball, and did not pitch that many innings. But when you go back and look at what he did with Richmond, when you look at what he did against Wagner, sub-4 ERAs across the board. The whip in 2025, which is by far the best season of his career, 0.9. That's really, really good. 57 strikeouts, only walked 13. The jump in competition can scare you a little bit because he was not the best in his ACC form. But throughout what he did the rest of his collegiate career, Guardians obviously see something. He's got not too bad of stuff either.
Yeah, like you said, I mean, like taking guys from down south. We've seen that already with this draft. Last pick, in my opinion, or recent memory that I've been thinking of is Rafe Schlesinger from the University of Miami, and he's got, all the tools. Maybe the ERA hasn't been there, but again, a guy in Bilka, another pitcher. I love it. I love them taking pitchers. Got a lot of room to develop this guy too. Good pick.
Yep. Round 11 draft pick was Jake Bean. So we're going back into the Louisville standpoint of things. Jake Bean.
Hey, so he's a Kent State transfer. Kent State transfer.
Yes, Kent State transfer. He's from Middlefield, Ohio. He was an All-MAC first-team honoree, transferred into Louisville, 6'3", 190. Here's what he did in the ACC. Obviously, it's going to take a dip from what you saw at Kent State. It was a 10-plus ERA with Louisville. That is not great. However, what's the trend that we've seen with the Guardians? They don't draft on stats. They draft on stuff and how they feel like they can develop your pitches. And he's obviously got some metrics that they like. They wouldn't have taken him if otherwise. So took him in the French fry round and a pair of threes across the board, pick 333.
Like it. Kent State guy, obviously that's, big
hometown pick.
Big for the area, right? Love to see him coming back. And again, just love them adding pitchers. Can never have enough.
Yep. Well, they're going to add nope. I skipped ahead once more. So Ben Cleary, an infielder from Santa Clara. So the Bronco infielder is coming out here in round 12. And for Ben Cleary, we'll take a look at his stuff. 6 foot, 200, plays the infield mainly in the middle. So he's a shortstop, second baseman. We've got the corner outfielder. Now we got the inside infielder with Ben Cleary. Stayed at Santa Clara every single year, and just kept getting better. Every year he was with the Broncos. 358 last year, 5 home runs, 39 runs scored, had 30 RBIs. There you go, Mike, just about on point. Same time, just kept developing that power. More home runs every year. Batting average got better every year. More RBIs every single year. This is a guy that just continues to develop, continues to produce at a very high level, and WCC baseball can be fun to watch at points. So excited to see what Ben Cleary does. I want to look at his base paths. Not a huge threat over his career, 17 steals, 7 caught stealing, but you'll take him for solid defense, and he's turning into a pretty good bat.
Yeah.
Hey, you go ahead, Taven. Go ahead.
I mean, I was just going to say, just, looking at the draft, 20 rounds, you want to get at least a little bit of everything, in my opinion. Didn't really have that middle infield yet. So obviously just great to get a guy, holding down the middle infield.
Yeah. Hopefully our middle infield is held down at the major league level for a little while here. Let's hope that between Travis Bazzana and Rocchio, we've got a pretty good tandem that we can keep in the fold for a while, and you're not looking to replace them anytime soon. But yeah, you gotta start developing guys and be ready when the moment comes.
Eric Dezens, welcome the Sac State prospect for the round 13 pick. So for Mr. Dezens, give me 1 second. My phone is being
he went to Sac.
Slow.
So let's see. Mr. Dezens, I've got here on Baseball Reference listed at 6'1", 200 pounds, out of Pasadena, California. He played at, let's see, it looks like,
I believe he was a community college kid that transferred in.
Right. He was with the Bismarck Larks of the Northwood Summer League in 24-25. In this past season, playing for Sac State out in the WAC, the wiggity whack. He hits a big 356, 969 OPS. The guy has 64 runs batted in, 10 home runs, 2 triples, 17 doubles, 88 hits, 50 runs scored. Not too shabby there.
And you add in the fact that he's the son of a former major leaguer, Pops is going to know what it takes to get him ready.
Good call.
Can play the outfield there as well. Taven, anything?
There it is. Like another outfielder. That's all I got. Mike's been on it today with these comments, so
yeah, Mike has been on it. I have a feeling he's got things all set there and prepared. Yeah. We're going to go to the University of Nevada, Las Vegas campus for Carson Lane, who is going to be the round 14 pick. So you keep adding on to these pitchers. Again, my phone just keeps being
6'3", 212. He is he throws right-handed from Fountain Valley, California. He was at UNLV, played all 3 seasons there. I guess he's in the summer league now for State College, but in his time at UNLV, most recently, he was 3-4 this past season. The season before that, his second year, 2025, 6-4, had an 8.23 ERA. This season, 14 games, 13 starts, 62 1/3 innings, 86 hits, 62 runs, 57 of those are earned, 9 home runs given up, 38 walks, 70 strikeouts, hit 6 batters, 1 balk, and 11 wild pitches. I'm going to blame that on the catcher. But, as you talked about, another right-handed arm. They're continuing to try to rebuild this pitching staff and reload. We've talked about it from the outset, the fact that the minor leagues seem to be struggling right now. So hopefully they will have found some peeps.
Alejandro Garza is up next. This is a round 15 pick. He hails from Cal Poly. So guess what? They're going to keep going out to the West Coast this draft. They really like that a lot. He's a little bit of a weird infield prospect because normally you get guys that play the corners, guys that play the middle. He can play both second and third. You don't really see him play much shortstop, which is a bit unusual. But again, is coming over from Cal Poly. Smaller guy, 5'9", 165. But when you take a look at what he did out in the Big West, 318 batting average with 50 RBIs, had 91 hits this year, 5 home runs, so not really known for that. Not known for what he can do on the base paths either. He's just a solid fielder, a solid bat, and a guy that I think, from what I can understand, has a pretty good motor. And there's the other thing as well. Mike is on top of it today. Very hard to strike out. Very patient at the plate.
Yeah, talking about this guy, just talking about him and the way he looks, and also the position. Like, he's 5'9", he plays a lot of second, a lot of third. Kind of reminds you of a Tyrese Turner when he was coming up. I mean, around the same draft round. I know it's kind of an out there comp, but if I were to comp him to somebody just to get a kind of feel for what kind of pick this really is, Tyrese Turner around 13 pick, 5'10". This guy's 5'9", around 15 pick. And, Tyrese plays a lot of third, a lot of second. They've transitioned him into the outfield. Could we see that? And, only time will tell. But not bad if you got, Tyrese Turner, find a diamond in the rough here.
Their third high school arm, and again, once you get into these lower rounds, it starts to find hard to really find guys on this, especially high school prospect. But Sebastian Rowland is not a bad guy at all. Hails from Central Point Christian High School, and just another arm to add to it, another righty to add to a really stacked pitching class here.
Yep.
Yeah, and he's played for, if I've got the right person, I believe he played for in the NAIA, Kansas, and in the Kansas Collegiate Athletic Conference. Is that the correct person? It might be a different person by the same name. So I apologize if it is. I'm like,
it might be different here. So
it is absolutely.
Yeah.
It's got to be different. That's great. You would not think. That's not a common name, right?
No, it is not.
No, Sebastian's not even that common. So
and the name spelled like that, the last name spelled like that, is crazy. Anyway, all right. So
committed to Oregon.
Yep, committed to Oregon. He's a two-way prospect. And when you take a look, fastball velocity can top out at 95. He's got pretty good splits for the most part. Was at a 2024 Junior Nationals showcase. And he can get pretty fast. His fastballs just continue to rise in velocity, and has got some other good tools there as well. So there's another high school pick. Let's go to Lamar. Travis Lutz, another righty that they are adding to the bag here. I believe he was an all Southland. Yep. So was a transfer in this year. Was the Southland Conference Newcomer of the Year, named to second team All Conference and the All Conference Tournament team. Here's a guy whose numbers are actually going to back up why he's drafted where he is. 3.26 ERA, 68 strikeouts, 1.10 whip in 16 appearances, 9 starts across 60 and 2/3 innings, and a season-high 10 strikeouts against McNeese. Season-long 8 innings, so it's a guy that can go the distance there as well. Pretty much every tool you want. I have a starting pitcher here with Travis Lutz.
Those numbers look good to me.
Yeah.
They're definitely the most impressive numbers we've looked at so far. Guess what? We're going to go back to the UNLV train because Parker Dilhoff is another member of that Rebels pitching staff who will find his way coming into Cleveland. 6'4", 240 for Dilhoff, but he really has bounced around. He was at Wichita State, then bounced over into Louisiana Lafayette. Did not play NCAA ball in 24, might be dealing with some injuries or whatnot. And again, another guy whose numbers are just not going to tell the full story. 7.53 ERA. Gave up a lot, but 94 strikeouts over 69 and a third innings. So the Guardians really taking a lot of guys this year that are proven that can strike you out. And that's exactly what Parker Dilhoff
And he is an Ohio native, born in Cincinnati, went to Lebanon High School in Lebanon, Ohio.
They're taking all the Cincinnati kids. I love it. Round 19, guess what? Bam. Pitcher Zach Cowan, LSU. Another righty hailing from the SEC. So Zach
Cowan's did you say a righty? Isn't he a lefty? He's a lefty, right? Correct?
I believe he's a righty.
On the graphic, it says he's a righty.
Okay, on some other jabroni's Guards Insider, it has him listed as a left-handed pitcher.
Well, that's wrong. He is definitely a righty. 5.32 ERA and a weird down year for LSU baseball. It was a Wofford transfer who absolutely lit the world on fire in 2024. 10 wins, pitched over 110 innings, actually exactly 110, which you do not see a lot at the collegiate level, with 124 strikeouts. Followed that up with a great season in 2025. And as Mike says right there, as my scouting report says too, both a starter and a high leverage reliever. So we'll see which way they use him, but you start to get into the later rounds, and Zach Cowan's a guy that's proven he's worthy to get drafted here. Last pick of the draft, Parker Coyle of the University of Arkansas. There's the other lefty that we were searching for out of the SEC. So Parker Coyle, an Oklahoma native, 6'3", 195, has been at Arkansas throughout his entire career. Pitched really well in 2025 in only 14 games, really ramped it up this year out of the bullpen. 27 games, a 3.99 ERA, pitched a massively long career-high innings, and that came in tail with a ton of strikeouts. This guy's K per 9 is pretty darn good, and he doesn't walk anybody. He walked only 10 guys last year, and that just came with him getting much more innings. He's a guy with great command, ferocious intensity, as you see there by the picture, and that rounds out your draft class.
Yeah, 58 strikeouts to 10 walks. I'll take a 6-to-1 ratio.
Woo, boy.
That's a lot.
All right. We met a ton. We met some promotions, some releases, 20 new players into the organization, and we will keep you updated on where everything went. We have been here for 2 hours, and we appreciate all of you sticking with us really quickly. let's touch on what the Guardians have done to close out things before the All-Star break as we head into the All-Star break for minor leagues as well. We'll remind you where all the minor league teams sit, and we will touch on the Guardians as well. Fellas, I don't know about you. That sweep against the Marlins gave me some really good confidence. Pitching really started to pick things up. This starting rotation, even though the lineup has not been healthy, the starting rotation has been. And all it's going to take, once Jose gets back, once Martinez gets back, you showed how much they missed Chase DeLauder. I think 3 home runs just in this past week. You take 4 of 6, and this is a great stat right here. Thank you, Mike, for this. I was going to want to look at it. They are playing 500 ball since Jose, Angel, and Chase DeLauder all got hurt. Is that not what we said we wanted to have happen? And it's happened. 500 baseball through the All-Star break. That's been about a month of baseball, and this All-Star break is going to be well-deserved. They still sit in pretty good position, even though I still believe the White Sox are leading this. No, they're tied. They're tied right now.
They're tied, but it's a winning percentage thing. I believe that the White Sox have a high. They've played, 2 less games, so they've got 1 less, they've got.
The win percentage actually doesn't equate to be that different, but the White Sox do have it there by a slim margin.
Okay. They played 2 less games. They've got 1 less win, 1 less loss. So the win percentage actually is exactly the same. You're right. It's just that they've only got 45 in the loss column. We've got 46. They're 50-45. We're 51-46. And quite frankly, it's incredible that we're 5 games over 500 with a -2 run differential.
Yeah. And we've been without our best player. Pitching has still not been fantastic throughout the year. Fellas, this is a Guardians team right now. Exactly. Look at that. A year ago, again, this team had the 10-game losing streak. We were talking about, okay, who are they going to sell off? What are they going to change? Obviously, the whole Clase and Ortiz thing was still going on last year. They're 5 games above 500 without Jose, without Angel Martinez, 2 crucial, huge key parts to this lineup. Now that Chase DeLauder is back, he has been swinging the bat exceptionally well. He has skipped exactly 0 beats since coming back from injury. In fact, dare I say, he's even gotten better. And as soon as this bullpen figures things out and Sobrowski starts to lock things down, Andrew Walters is still on the IL. And once they figure out their rotation, we probably assume that Khalil Watson is going to be sent back down. Who knows what happens with Gabby Arias at this point, but a very, very well-deserved week. Getting into the All-Star break, they play their way back to 500 without the key guys. I don't know how much more I got to say. I'm pretty happy with where this team's at right now, all things considered.
Yeah, I don't think, when those guys went down, we obviously just we asked to just tread water, and that's exactly what happened, right? That sweep, it gave you a lot of great momentum, right, going into the All-Star break. Like, look, obviously you need those guys back, but it's also good to see that you're not dependent on those guys, right? You're able to have guys step up when it matters. And like you mentioned, pitching maybe hasn't been the best. I think after the All-Star break, a lot like last year, that's going to start to turn that corner. And the fact that, you've set yourself up in a way better position this year without, in my opinion, I think the Tigers were better last year than what the White Sox are this year. Yeah. I think you're in a really good spot to make a run here, especially coming out of the All-Star break with probably, I don't think Jose will be ready the minute it's over, but probably like a week and a half, and then he'll be back.
Yeah, like very beginning, I think maybe end of July, beginning of August, probably for him. It's really incredible what they've been able to accomplish to this point this season, especially when you take into consideration these injuries. And we are fortunate, I will say, that the American League stinks, basically.
Yeah.
Right. And so the Guardians have to, you play who you play, and you got to win those games. Obviously, the Marlins aren't in the AL, so to go and take 3 in Miami is amazing. It's fantastic.
To cut you off very rudely, it's the first team to sweep Miami in the state of Florida this year.
Wow. That is impressive. I did not know that.
Well, the Fish have been playing some good ball, man.
Yes, they have. They have. And
And Mike just said real quick, we have the easiest schedule after the All-Star break.
Yeah, so I want to run through that because I saw Mike comment to that, and I knew it was going to be towards the bottom. It doesn't start out pretty, but we do have 7 games at home. We're at home against the Pirates, home against the Twins. Then you go on the road and you play 3 games against the Rays. That's where you find out where your money is made. Yep. And do you get Jose back by that series? It's going to be a wildly different conversation if Jose and Martinez are playing that series or if they aren't. And depending on what they do with or without those guys, I think it's going to tell a lot about where this team sits. But again, that's at the tail end of July. You also have 3 games in Cincinnati before you round out the month, starting a series with the Diamondbacks. Then you have the Mets, at the White Sox, at the Tigers. The Padres will be interesting. They've been really weird and shaky this year. Then the Giants on the road against the Rockies, on the road in LA against the Angels. Then you play the Royals. That's a really easy stretch of 3 series right there. Then you get into September. Play the Blue Jays, who are stinking it up this year. Play the Tigers, play the O's, play the Twins, play the White Sox, play the A's, play the Red Sox, play the Royals. In the month of August, the way the standings currently sit, we play 1 team that's above 500, and it's the team with the co-lead in the division. This team has got a really easy path to the end. There's no way they are even close to playing their best baseball of the season, and they're still not fully healthy. Who knows if Andrew Walters is going to be back this year. I think this bullpen's only going to get better. You knock on all the wood in the world and pray the starting pitching is going to continue to be as durable as it has been, and then you just do what you did last year, except there's no 15-game mark to make up.
Right. And hopefully Tim Herron is not they put him on the 15-day IL after he got nailed with that line drive in the arm. That man, he got shot there, but it might prove to give an opportunity to another arm. We talked about Cody Hoyer getting another chance to pitch here in the bigs, and if he can cement himself in and then before Tim Herron can get back, that would be fantastic. Then we could send Matt Festa to the Sun, and he can take Armstrong and Arias with him. But we'll see how it goes. No, they are certainly in an excellent position. You'd like to see them not to have so many games that are 1-run games. They are having to gut everything out. The inability to drive a guy home from third with less than 2 outs is astonishing. I think it was actually, I don't know if I was listening to this on the radio or Mike, because Mike from the UK knows all the stats, talked about how maybe it was like last season, we were one of the best teams in majors at those situations of getting guys home. And this year we've been floundering, unable to do it. It's been kind of crazy. On a positive note, you're seeing Stephen Kwan start to turn. It seems like he's starting to turn a bit of a corner.
Which is good, because we've known that Kwan appears to have been like a one-half guy. Normally, it's the first half he starts out hot, and then toward the end he starts to fade.
So maybe if it turns into the opposite, I would love to see that. And I don't know what to Mike's question, Daniel Espino. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I don't think he's necessarily been bad, but I don't think they're giving him the right chance. Like, there's a lot of other guys that would have sent down over Espino for Aleman. I love Aleman. I mean, I think we talked about this last week when, we were on. There's room to keep both. There really is. And with the injury to Herron, I don't see why he wasn't the choice over Hoyer or why Festa's still on the team, but there's still a lot of room. Festa's catch a lot of strays tonight, more than usual, but can't say they're not deserved.
The one positive thing I will say about Matt Festa is honestly his stats are not as bad as they should be. His stats just aren't as bad as they feel like they should be. Yeah. No, I'm serious. They're not as bad as they should be. For as much as we're talking about this guy blowing smoke up everybody's his stats are not that bad. They're just not. Even though he gives up pretty much every clutch hit available, didn't this past series. But no, overall, you feel good about where this team is at. Would I make a couple of changes? Yeah. Obviously, getting Jose back. Again, still the biggest question is going to be, what in the hell do you do with Gabby Arias? Still the biggest question.
Trade him. He's trending up. Trade him. Look, we need, and this is also going to be the question of, as we get to the trade deadline, the team has shown they can play even without having Jose and Angel in the lineup, and they are in contention in a bad American League. Do not miss an opportunity to get out of the American League and make it to the World Series. This is absolutely the right time and the right season to make a move. You are right there. Do something about it. Don't be cheap some of them bitches.
And I think next week we definitely have to go through some potential trade ideas, just because obviously not a lot's going to happen next week. Next time we jump on here with very few games, but yeah, you've got to go out and make a trade and trade some pieces that you have currently now, so that you can free up room.
So here's the key with Arias, because I think when you look at the current roster, I don't think it's much of a secret that it's probably Khalil Watson that's going to get sent back down, even though he's done his part. It's either trade or a DFA for Gabby. There's no in between. And I'll tell you right now, if someone can fix his just pure apathy for the game of baseball, he's going to turn into a solid player. Mark my words on that. The Guardians have not been able to do it. He's got a big ego, but if somebody can handle that, they'll take a chance on him. So I'd rather, along with you two, trade him, get something for him, either get an arm. What's his trade value, though? That's the only thing. Do you trade him for cash considerations? Do you trade him for a single A complex player?
We traded for less. We practically said, hey, is that yes, I'll trade Jack. Oh, last name Beanstalk, Jack, and Magic Beans. Oh, okay, we'll trade you for that. That seems like what's par for the course for the Guardians. So I don't think it takes much for them to trade a guy. Soggy potato chips too.
Personally, like Mike said, Watson has done better than expected, which I did want to touch on that next. You talk about trading Arias, right? And obviously he is the weakest link of them all. But a question you really have to ask too is, when Jose and when Angel get back, is Watson going to have room to be an everyday player? Or do you strike when the iron is hot, which in my opinion, I think it is. And I think you do that because I like Watson as a player. I really do. But I don't think that he's going to be a long-term solution anywhere for an everyday player. If somebody really likes Watson, I'm okay with trading him, in my opinion.
Watson's a younger guy. He's a smaller guy. But again, if you develop him properly, he's going to turn into something. Now, here's the other scenario that before we end this show, we have got to touch on what they could do. And it still revolves around Gabby Arias, okay? But when you take a look at the current makeup of this roster, and once you get Jose back, well, that probably is bye-bye to Watson or Petey Halpin. And then when you get Martinez back, that's definitely bye-bye to the other. That's not a guarantee that Gabby Arias even goes anywhere.
Right.
They could still keep him around. Now, he's not going to play every day, and that's just going to get to his head. So, what do we think? Like, Halpin and Watson both can get sent down. They've opted to go with the extra player rather than the extra arm, which they normally have done. And obviously, Hoyer is up. Franco Alaman is here. They've all been pitching great. But you at this point just kind of trust that, hey, we don't really need the extra arm right now because our starting rotation has been the most premier in the sport so far, not in terms of stats, but in terms of longevity and staying healthy. Yeah. Every guy has made every projected start this year. Nobody's missed one.
What are you? Nate!
I keep knocking on wood. Hey, I'm like Tom Hamilton. What I say has no bearing on whatever happens.
You want to hear about that?
Game.
What did they say the stat was today? The Marlins hadn't gone an entire series. They're scoring less than 2 runs in a game, and then all of a sudden, whammo! Home run.
Well, first of all, that's baseball. That's bound to happen when you play.
No, you shut up. You shut up.
My desk is made of wood. I have knocked on wood enough today. I have the privilege and the freedom to say what I wish.
Can I ask you a question? Is it wood pulp is it the pressed wood or is it actual hardwood?
No, it's wood.
Are you sure about that? Did you build
I-
it? Did you buy it from Walmart and build it, and you got those crappy instructions
Amazon,
that are
actually.
oh, okay. So then I'm sure
Amazon.
it's pressed wood. Okay, but we'll give you credit for it.
I don't care. I know my dresser's made of actual wood. I have a wooden bed frame. I got
Look
wood
what Mike
everywhere.
said.
Here. If Messick gets hurt at the All-Star game, there's bigger problems than me saying this has been the healthiest starting pitching lineup every year. And if it was going to burn me, it would have burned me already because I said it last week. And look, nothing has happened. Yes, big shout out to the 3 All-Stars, especially 2 rookies, Bazana, Messick,
And that
then closer
is
Cade.
Tuesday, correct? Because the Derby's tomorrow.
I thought Wednesday. No, yes, it is
Derby's
Tuesday,
tomorrow.
isn't it? Or is it Wednesday?
It's day
Okay.
after Derby normally, and I know that's tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah. You are correct, sir.
There we go.
Well, this has been a long show. Definitely one of the longest we've had in a long time, if not ever. There was a ton to touch on today. And the people showed up for it as well. Give or take, there right now, according to my sources here, give or take 80. Give or take 80 that are getting on here right now. Hey, guys, we just continue to ramp things up. Recap graphics, been making new ones. They'll be out sometime tomorrow. I got a county fair going on this week, so I'll be busy, staying busy with all the sports stuff as well. So you can find me at Tailgate 829. We'll get the college football YouTube started back up soon, I imagine, as well, starting to make some graphics and stuff for that. And Tailgate 829 anywhere you watch on the social medias. And guys, where can they find you before we tell the people what the minor league teams are doing this week post All-Star break?
Yeah, keep it short. Actor sports coverage for high school, college, minor league coverage. Also follow the podcast Instagram at Prospects of the Land. Obviously follow Baseball Banner Broadcast, YouTube, Instagram, all that good stuff going over there. Again, thank you to Jeremy Laraquente for allowing us to come on week in, week out, and allowing us to do this. A lot of the guys over there, not just him, but names are slipping my head, but Rodriguez, one of them.
Roman Rodriguez.
Roman. I mean, a lot of great guys, a lot of great content over there. Make sure you guys go tap into that.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter, X, whatever you call it, at egreen4325 for all the updates on things that are going on with my other podcasts. In fact, tomorrow night, I know it's going to be up against the Home Run Derby tomorrow night, 8 p.m. We are scheduled to have the one, the only Gerard Cherry from ESPN Cleveland's The Next Level, Browns sideline reporter. He is scheduled to join us. Got him for about 15, 20 minutes. So we're going to try and pick his brain, have a great time talking to him. That is what we are scheduled for tomorrow night, 8 o'clock. So be sure to tune in to check out myself, Mike from the UK, and Drew Hagenbaugh on Going Nuclear. That is all part of the Land Multimedia Group. And thank you all for, having me be a part of this. This is a lot of fun, and I add all of my terrible jokes and bad old man humor.
Hey, like I said earlier, you do your job well. So that is about all that matters. We start with Hill City. What have they got going on? Obviously, it's the All-Star break. Take a week off and sit down. Hill City 5-16. So they've really got to start picking things up. But we know that once it comes around August, September, this team is going to look a whole lot different. Started to do a little bit better last week, but 5-16, and it just doesn't get easier. Even though this team can sort of take the half off, they come out of the All-Star break on the road against Fredericksburg. So we could be in for a rough 3-game set. When you take a look at the Lake County Captains, they're doing all they can right now. They're playing some pretty good baseball, not as good as what you've seen out of Great Lakes. I believe still 3 games behind Great Lakes in the division. Somewhere close to that. They come out of the All-Star break this week starting Friday with a 3-game set at home against the Dayton Dragons. So a short 3-game battle for Ohio series there. Akron started to turn it around a little bit last week, but still sit like Hill City at the very bottom of their division, and they are 10 games back of the Erie Seawolves right now. So ton of work to make up for Akron. Hopefully the reinforcements from Lake County make a difference. And We'll see if they can start making the difference as they go on the road to play the Binghamton Rumble Ponies once they come out of the All-Star break. And finally, for the clip show, sitting 5 games back right now, 9-9. They're treading around right now. Again, it's always tough in the International League because the Durham Bulls, are playing some really good baseball right now. They are coming out of the All-Star break, and they will be at home against Indianapolis.
Big week.
Indians.
Well,
it is a big week.
Short week, but big games.
Hey, nice little break for us all here as well to take some load off, recoup from baseball, let everybody get healthy, enjoy the All-Star festivities, and then we move. And we get into we're already well into the back half of the season, but get into the home stretch here. The Guardians, if I'm remembering from memory, play like 3 or 4 series against teams that are at or above 500. So it's a really easy stretch to close things out. And for the minor league team, still got Lake County in a playoff chase.
Yep.
It's going to be tough for anyone else to try to break into the postseason.
It's going to be fun. Got to enjoy it while it's here. Crazy. We got about 2.5 months left. Feels like it just started.
And then hopefully we got some level of playoff baseball.
Yeah.
Because the AL is bad, the Guardians still, even if they don't win the division, as of right now, have a good shot to get a wild card spot, even though winning the division would be so much nicer. And hopefully Lake County can make that run as well. Again, I'll actually look. Let me see when they play Great Lakes before we round out the show.
That's big. I was about to say, this is season 3 of the pod, Nate, and
holy crap.
We're 2 for 2 on seasons with previewing and talking minor league playoff series.
Mm-hmm. So
and
the only series left that the Captains and the Great Lakes Loons have together is the last series of the year.
Wow, it's gonna come down to it, hopefully.
Oh, and look at this. As Mike from the UK says, Clippers get to face Mike Clevenger after the break.
That's true. I did get to see Mike Clevenger when I was there for a Clippers game earlier this year. Didn't talk to him. I saw him pitch. So
yes, understandable.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yes. Holy crap. It is 11:04 local time here on the East Coast. Mike is about ready to get up and make himself a bowl of Frosted Flakes or whatever it is that he likes to do for breakfast over there. And crazy time. Crazy week. A lot going on. Always usual with the draft. And stay tuned into POTL to stay up to date with everything going down as these draft prospects start hitting the minors.
Got 80 people in here. Let's end one last thing. Give me a name for the Derby. Everybody, prediction.
Oh, hold up. Who's the field? I got to remember all the names. My prediction right now is Harper. I'm going Harper, the hometown dude. You got him. You've got Caminero. You've got Schwarber, Ben Rice, Contreras. That's 5. Murakami 6. So here we go. We'll list them off right now. Schwarber, Harper, hometown guys. Caminero's going to be the favorite on the outside away from Philadelphia. Yep. Then it's Munetaka Murakami, Jordan Walker of the Cardinals, Jack Caglione, Wilson Contreras, and then Ben Rice.
Yeah, I would say it's a Harper Caminero thing. That's what I'm thinking. It's one of those two. But I would bet on the hometown guy. I guess he's probably the betting favorite or second favorite. I'd go with Harper. It just feels that way. I'm glad they're changing the rules back to not have the timer. So that'll be beneficial. Yeah, as long as I'm fine. Harper wins it. Caminero, great, wonderful, good, lovely.
We've got 2 Harpers. Nate, who you going?
I'm going to go away from the hometown. I'm going to go with the former Cleveland prospect. Give me Caminero.
Okay.
Yep.
I'll go with the small town Rays guy to get this thing done. He's not flashy. He probably won't have the longest home run of the day, but boy, can he mash the baseball. I'll go with Junior Caminero. Dark horse to watch out for, Jack Caglione.
I like it. It's going to be a fun one.
AL or NL?
Guy
Gotta
riding with
root.
AL.
Should be the NL.
Should be. I'll ride
Should
with
be.
A. I'm riding with AL.
Well, you have to ride with the AL, but I'm saying who will probably win. Which
I'm gonna guess the NL should win. They are the home team in the game. I'm guessing they just overall have had a far better. Their records indicate that they're playing far better, but we shall see.
wow, 2.5 hours, guys. That equates to 150 minutes. I don't know how you sit here and stay up and watch, but thank you so much for doing it.
Thank you.
Please
Big crowd
continue to do it. Huge crowd, and we hope that continues moving forward. Mr. McCulley, the floor is yours to get us home.
2.5, probably the longest show we've ever done. 80 people. We appreciate everybody for sticking with us. A lot was unpacked, a lot was covered. Stay tapped into the prospects for Instagram and X accounts for updates on the show and just news happening around. And we'll see everybody sometime next week. Take it easy.